phone when you get a chance? How you doing, Warrior? Outstanding, outstanding.
Not just getting out.
Hand me the phone, please, Doc, in the back.
The phone in the back.
Go ahead. It's all right. Go grab it. The phone is in the back. I got it.
How's the volume? The volume should be 2 out, sir. The volume should be 2 out. Let me double check. OBS you should be able to start now, sir. Actually.
Okay, let's get it on. What about this microphone? Do I need it?
Khan, if I could, Salakia, if you want to point it towards yourself.
No, sir.
Khan. The mic, actually, one mic is right there. I gave it for us. And Salakia. Why? Grab the microphone, Khan. So we should wear 2 out, sir.
Come on.
I had a question, sir. On Lamentations chapter 3, verse 27, it says, it is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. Can I read it, sir? This is a general breakdown. Yes, sir. This is the book of Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 27. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth.
You want to break down on that?
Right, Khan. What is it? What does it mean?
Probably one verse, all right?
Yes, sir. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 26. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord.
You understand what that means, right?
Khan.
Break it down.
Okay, Khan. So it's good that a man should hope, meaning understand that there are things coming that aren't here right now, but that will be here. You get my point?
Right, meaning to earnestly desire something better than this hell.
Khan.
That's what it's talking about. That's hope. That's the hope that we all should have.
Khan.
We're here every day in this hell. There's another scripture in Jeremiah where the religious leaders at that time told them this is a long captivity. So buy a garden, buy a field, because we'll be here a long time. And they were rebuked by the prophets of God for saying that. Although we have been here a long time, but you cannot make your peace here. Making your peace here means you stay here forever. So what do you want to do? You want to be here, and at the same time, your mind is striving for a better place. That's the hope, all right? Go ahead.
And quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord.
And quietly wait for the salvation of the Most High, meaning as you're hoping, as you want it, you at the same time are having patience. What does the word quietly mean? Meaning, come on.
Meaning you're not taking it into your own hands, like the cat that shot up the cops in Dallas, etc.
You're not deciding that he's going to come back today because I want him back today.
Khan.
Right? So what you're doing is knowing that it's in his power when he decides to end this captivity. But I hope he ends it as soon as possible. But I will wait for him to end it. You understand?
Khan. Verse 27 was my question. Verse 27. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth.
It is good. What does it mean to bear the yoke? Come on.
To be under a burden or to work hard, basically.
To work hard is what you need to understand.
Yes, sir.
It's good for a brother when he's young to get accustomed to hard work. Okay. It's good for you.
Khan.
While you're young. Keep going.
Verse 28. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him.
He sits alone. So read that one more time.
He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him.
What is he borne upon him?
The yoke.
The yoke. And the yoke is?
Hard work.
Hard work. So now because he has worked hard, he sits alone. Read that part again.
He sitteth alone and keepeth silence.
And keepeth silence. Now what is a young man if he does not work hard when he's young?
He's damn near a busybody or a glutton.
Give me more. Glutton is getting on to it.
Okay.
You'll have a young man that has to be in the streets every day partying.
Right. Okay. Khan.
That has to be in a club every day. That has to get high every day. That needs constant excitement. That needs to sell drugs, chase whores, party all night, sleep with other men's women. He needs a riotous life because he has no concept of hard work. So he can't sit the hell down and shut his goddamn mouth. Think about the kind of problems everyone would avoid if they could sit alone in silence. Do you understand? Now, just feel that for a second. If they had that ability, if you could sit alone in silence, you would not need friends who you should not be around. You would need a gang. You would need to be around these people in school who are absolutely terrible people, but you don't want to be alone. A girl would need to be around these girlfriends who hate her, talk bad about her, shame her, but she still, hangs around them every day. Why? Because she doesn't want to be by herself. She doesn't want to be an outcast. She doesn't want to sit at the lunch table alone. You know what little girls do just so they'll have friends, Ak? I don't have to tell you, brothers, do I? You understand? Just for friends. You know what boys do? Just to have friends. Just to have people that he can hang around. Terrible things. Come on. Levi.
Shalom, I don't want your If I may, sir, what you're saying is so heavy, I don't want, and what it makes me think, being a parent, right? And it makes me realize the relationship that the Most High have with us is so similar to the relationship as a parent you have with your children. As you telling your children, don't hang around these type of friends because they bad for you. It's like us as the nation of Israel. We want to be like all these other nations, which are like the friends that we should not be like. And as a
friends
parent,
that give us peer pressure, right?
The
other nations are the bad friends in school who pressure you to smoke, who pressure you into sex at an early age, who pressure you into pornography, who pressure you into cutting school. That's our oppressor. That's the so-called white man, the Chinese man. They pressure us. And when you tell your child not to do it, well, your child will look at you and go, well, then I'll have no friends. I'll be alone if I don't do the things that these people in school want me to do. And that loneliness is worse than death to that child. And that's what our people feel with the other nations. Us not being with them is terrible to them. That's why they look at us and call us a cult. When you think about it, how in the hell, why aren't Christians a cult? Christians have crazy religious practices, crazy beliefs. Muslims aren't cults. The Jewish people who are damn near doing exactly what we're doing, but they're still not a cult. Because this is what people really mean when they call us a cult. What they really mean is the majority of people don't accept you.
Right.
And I can't be in something that is not accepted by the majority of people because I need to be liked. I need friends. I need people to accept me. And it's a coward's life. And come on.
I was going to say something after.
And here's what's so crazy. Okay. To be a Christian, right? You would have had to have been a Christian when it was considered a cult, or else there would be no Christianity.
Right.
You would have had to be a Christian 2,000 years ago when it was 12 of you.
Right.
And what would people call you? This crazy Jewish cult.
Right.
They're crazy. Don't go around them. Their leader got killed. The Romans killed him. You hear about them? Yeah, their leader got killed, man. All the rest of them got killed. Stay away from them. They're a cult. So in essence, you couldn't even be Christian without someone deciding that they were going to be called a cult while they were small, so that later on they would take over the world, which once again goes back to Abun's point. What are Christians really avoiding? They can't stand being alone because they can't stand hard work.
Right.
It's easy to go into a religion where it's millions of them and the president is a Christian.
Right.
And most of the planet is Christian. Then you can walk in the front doors, start praying, and go for the Christmas and have your Christmas and have your Thanksgiving and be done with it. But what if you had to seek out something that was not popular? Right. Then you would have to work hard for it to be established. And Christians are lazy goddamn bums. Come on.
So I saw this even on a lower level when I was in my first college. I was a trooper, and I noticed how everybody. I was in the football team back then. Everybody was trying to get me to party. Man, you got to come out. You got to party. You got to do this. You're not having an experience. But I noticed that they would all major in engineering like I was, but then slowly they would all drop out, and I was the only one to make it to Columbia and then on.
You give him a hand. Make sure you say that on camera. He said he was the only one to make it to Columbia and then past that. Keep going.
That was it, sir. Slide.
Yeah, give him a hand. He had courage, and he didn't give a damn about, pissy friends in school who you will never know again. Right. I think about the things I did for people oh my God, that I never saw again. Right. And you think they're the center of the universe. Right. And you don't know when you're 16, you are never going to see them again. Ever. In your mind, it's like us forever. Like it's us forever, us against the world, right. If you don't mind. But meanwhile, my God, you just doing this because you can't stand alone in that school. You can't walk in there and stand like a man. Right. You're scared to death, lonely, need to be liked. That's the point. This is the breakdown of this precept, Abana, right? You need a little more? Let me know. Go ahead.
I have one more question on different scripture. Okay, it's 1 Timothy 4:12. It's on the same topic of youth. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers.
So who is this speaking to? It
will be the men in the truth.
Yes, but is this speaking to the young men or the old men?
It will be the leaders of these schools.
Read it one more time.
Okay, Salaki. Let no man despise thy youth.
So who is it speaking to?
The young man.
The young man, right? So it's telling the young man, do not let someone hate you because you're young in the truth. That's the point, right? How do you stop someone? How do you not let anyone get angry at you because of your youth in the truth? Because you're a trooper or an officer of 50 or some young officer. How do you make sure that they don't hate you over that? It's in the next verse. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers.
How do you make sure that no one hates you because you're young in the truth?
Be thou an example of the believers.
By being an example of the brothers who would hate you. Who are the believers? Them. So in essence, people in the world read this scripture and this is how they think about it. They think, if a brother is angry at me and he's over at me, I have to stop him. Hey man, you can't treat me like that. I'm an officer of 50. Just because I'm young in the truth, you can't check me. That is not what this is talking about. You can absolutely make sure no one hates you by acting like them. That's what you have to do. The brothers who are over you, act like them. If you don't act like them, they're going to go, this cat is young now. Hey, listen, what's up with that brother, man? You want to let him be over this department? I say, never mind. What can I do? I look at you, that seem like a good brother, man. Hey, why don't you put him over that department? Sir. This cat does not report. He don't check in. He don't do this. All right. That's all I can do for him. Shit, you know him better than me. I ain't down there with him. You see him all the time. If you say he's an absolute screw up, he must be one. This young man is letting people despise his youth because you're acting like a child as opposed to a man. And men want sons to act like men. That's a big disparity between mothers and fathers. Mothers would love for you to stay a baby the rest of your life. So they can just feed you and hug you and take good care of you. You don't never got to move out. You can stay there forever. They'll bail you out of jail, pay for everything because they want to nurture you. They want to love you and hug you forever. And that's good. And people need that at a certain age. A man wants his son to be a man almost at birth. Like almost immediately. Let me see that boy. Come on, boy. Come on. Get right. Come on now. Come on. What you doing? Come on. All right. Now you see him laughing. You go, okay, all right. I threw him up in the roof. He laughed. Good. It's just what a child needs. A child needs both of those. Then you come into the truth, Doc, and then you just want to stay a boy, and brothers are not going to give you responsibilities. They're going to say that you're not capable because you're a child that someone has to coddle and nurture and help along. And you know what you need? You need just mercy and forgiveness. And you'll get that. You need that. You're a Salakia brother. So since you're a Salakia brother, everyone will take your Salakias and go, okay, well, that's a Salakia brother. Just do whatever you can. Salakia, sir. Salakia. I didn't even see what time it is. I didn't know. I fell asleep. I said, don't ever say you fell asleep. No one cares about that. No one cares about brothers that give you a pass on it are giving you a pass because, blow my mind, someone else. You go to a brother and you say, oh, why weren't you at camp? Why'd you miss that operation? Oh, I fell asleep. I didn't realize what time it is. They'll go, okay, no sweat. They're giving you a pass because, how's it, Hob? Be on topic, though. You're right, but you got to be on topic. Young brother in the back. They're giving you a pass because of your youth. That's why. They're looking at you and going, he's young. He's young. I can't give him responsibility. He's young. You understand? Anything else? Questions in the room? Questions online. I'll get to the topic today. We're going to go over, the young brothers called and gave me the full breakdown of the Locks versus the Dipset. And I'm going to break it down today. Shout out to Officer Obadia. He knows what the hell he's talking about. And a lot of other young brothers in the school schooled me on the entire thing. And of course, it is exactly what we teach every day. And it's an excellent example for brothers and sisters in the world to understand why the UPK stresses the principles that we stress every day. And I'll explain it in a minute, all right?
Online, sir.
Online. To what? I'll get you in the back in 1 second.
First one was from a Prophet Music. He asked, Shalom, Lord in Christ, sir, if I may, has the children of Japheth ever had Israel as slaves?
Yes.
Kano, sir. I'm going to say it.
The children of Japheth have had the Israelites as slaves, but during the before Alexander's father, King Hawaki, back during the, what's the empire called? Alexander's father.
It would be the Macedonians.
The Macedonians, right? Back when they were in their original homeland of Europe and Greece. Right. Europe and Greece is the original homeland of the Japhetic people. Who are the Japhetic people? The Eskimos, Aborigine of Australia. Even the name Aborigine is a Latin name because the original Latins were Japhetic, right? The original Europeans. Even the name Aryan. That's a Japhetic name. The Aryans. Come on. Aryan. Like the Aryan nation. Right? Aryans. The Aryans, that's a Japhetic people, right? And now the so-called white man calls himself an Aryan because he lives in the land of the Aryans, right? Who are also Eskimos, Aborigines of Australia. And it's a few of those, Commander General Yohana was telling me, a few of those Polynesians? No, the Polynesians and maybe one other people. Hold on, it's on the tip of my tongue. One other people, one of them Thailand, one of them ones I thought was Moabite or Chinese.
Was it the Ainus, the original Japanese?
The Filipinos. Some of them, or all of them, or some of them are Japhetic. You got to go do the research on that. The ones that come from Polynesia, all right, they're Japhetic. How's it?
I was going to say, one time, Commander Yohana said on the radio show, Indonesia.
Indonesia. He said they were. Did he say they were Japhetic?
He referred to them as Japhetic, and I didn't get what he meant.
Solid. Good enough. Then they're Japhetic too. I know those countries. I always forget them because there's so many of them and they look so much alike. Okay, but they're not all Moabites or Ammonites. All right, they're not all Japanese and Chinese. Some of them are Japhetic. Come on.
So, like, if I may, on subject, I've heard that, like, what's called, a lot of these people, like, at some point, Esau did go towards Asia, and that Attila the Hun had to kick them back into what's known as Europe. Right. Have you ever heard of that, or?
Okay, I've heard, of course, that Attila the Hun conquered a great swath of land and conquered a great many people for himself at that time. Now, I have to look up. See, I don't recall what Attila the Hun is. I got to ask Commander General Yohana.
Go ahead. No, because he was mainly, these were white barbarians like the Visigoths, the Goths, so on and so forth. Basically saying, basically they were saying like they left Europe for a minute and was terrorizing basically Polynesians
Right.
and Moabites and
Okay,
Ammonites.
I've never heard
Concept.
that. I don't know that.
Right,
I can't
concept.
teach it, but you can go research it, and I'll ask Commander General Yohana.
Concept.
Okay, but you know, the Attila the Huns occupied what's called the steppe
Right.
today, right? That was their land. They went on to conquer parts of the Eastern Roman Empire as well. Okay, go ahead, Ak.
So weren't they known as Scythians also?
Scythian sounds familiar, but I can't verify it. I just can't recall. But you can look it up. That's simple enough to just Google it. It should be some accepted version of what where Attila the Hun came from and what the Scythians are, if that is where he came from. Go ahead.
It's like, sir, on the topic, I guess, of Attila the Hun, Genghis Khan, what's a UPK breakdown for him? Was he Moab? Like, is he
Genghis
significant
Khan,
biblically?
to my memory, he's a Moabite, but I'd have to check because I can't recall. All those ones I can't remember. I want to say Genghis Khan. Wait, no, not Genghis Khan. What's the one you just said? You said
I said Genghis Khan.
Oh,
Yes,
Attila the Hun, Salakia. Genghis Khan, to my memory, he's a Moabite, not Chinese.
Right.
Genghis Khan is not Chinese because Chinese is a specific family of Moabite that conquered, like every group, they have tribes.
Right.
And China, it was conquered by a tribe of Moabites. And that tribe were the Chinese, or their dynasty. It was called, I believe, the Qin dynasty. Come on.
I think the Han are the dominant ethnic group in China, the Han Chinese.
Exactly. So
Come.
China is not named after the Han. China is named after, I think it's Qin. Look it up. I believe it's Qin, the Qin dynasty, and that's why they named the place China. All right. You can look it up and get it on for yourself. All right.
Online.
Please.
Kwashab Banya Hawada asks, Salakia, sir, can you explain, is it all right to mourn a family member who died over 10 years ago over a drug overdose?
Did he say to mourn?
Khan.
Yes. 10 years ago.
Khan.
No, that's not right. You can't mourn someone for 10 years, brother.
Right.
You better start remembering that there's one person left alive, and that's you.
Right.
You don't honor your family member by mourning over them 10 years later. That's, you don't want to do something like that. That's incorrect, all right? You're hurting the living by doing something like that. Go ahead.
So, like, sir, if
You
I
can
could,
lose the mascot. You good to go. Through water.
and if I could,
ahead.
sir, the precept for that would be Ecclesiastes 9 and 6 through 9, where it basically says whatever happened to them is over with. You got to go and live your life at this point.
Exactly. Ecclesiastes is the precept for it. Okay, there's a time for mourning. And when mourning goes past that time, you are hurting the living. Right. You cannot join dead people in their death, because if you do, you separate from the living in their life. That person who you were mourning, they were at one time what? Alive. And because they were alive, what did they do? They gathered great memories with you. Imagine if you have a family member or a cousin that died, right? And you miss him. Well, why do you miss him? All of us have had people in our lives who have died in the world, right? People you miss, correct? Well, why do you miss them? Levi?
If I may, sir. You miss their presence
Why do you miss their presence?
because of the memories you have.
Because of the memories. Memories like what? What memories would you miss of a dead family member?
Let's say, for example, a child and a mother or father.
You missed when you first saw them smile.
Right.
Parties you went to. Fun and games and good times and laughs and good memories. That's why you miss them. You miss them because when they were alive, they were with you in life, enjoying the things of life. Now they're dead and they're gone, and it's sad. Right. But you are still alive. If you begin to behave like a dead man and sit and cry, then who will have good memories with you? Now you and I never have a good memory. Now when I want to go out and have a damn drink with you, what are you? No, I'm not going. No, I lost my cousin. That's rough, Ak, but I'm here. We can't go out and have a drink? Do I have to die to get close to you? You know what? You'll love me when I'm dead. When I'm dead, you'll put me on a t-shirt and you'll mourn me. But I am here right now. We could go out and chase some tail tonight. Not that that's right. But it is tail out there. And brothers sometimes bond by going to introduce themselves to a few righteous sisters that might want repentance. All right? And you and I could talk about that and discuss that, or go jump in the car and go somewhere and see something, thereby developing the same memories that you have with that dead man. So that maybe someone will miss you when you're dead. You have to live. Give that dead person a certain amount of time. After that, wash your clothes, clean up, get up off the floor, and live. Is this tough talk or is it in the Bible? Oh, it's in the Bible. Give it to me, Abun.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 7. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy.
Read above it.
Khan. Verse 6. Also their love and their hatred.
Above it.
Verse 5. For the living know that they shall die.
Above it.
Khan. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 3. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun.
The evil that we're speaking about is death. It's an evil thing, death, man. It comes to everything. Right. Even those of us that are merciful, that have enough mercy to make it on the chariots, eventually we will die in the kingdom of heaven. Right. It'll be a long damn time, but it will happen. Right. So that the new generations can have a place on this earth. The old generations have to go. That's life here, right? So eventually everyone dies, and it's evil. It's a terrible thing when it happens. And if you lose your cousin, or God forbid, your child, or some terrible, horrible thing like that, those things happen to people. Keep going.
That there is one event unto all.
There's one event unto all. The good die, the evil die. The animals die, the people die. Everything dies. Keep going.
Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil.
And the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, meaning not only do people die, but heathens are always trying to kill you. There's so much evil in their heart. And because of that, what happens? Death rages on more. Now there's so much death, not just because of dying of old age, which is evil enough. To lose your grandfather, or lose your grandmother, or your parent, that's evil enough. But because of the sons of men and the evil in their heart, you might lose your brother, your child, your young wife, somebody so young that they shouldn't die, but they still die because of the evil in the heart of the sons of men. Keep going.
And madness
Sons of men is speaking about the other nations. Go ahead.
And madness is in their heart while they live.
And once again, while they're alive, they're crazy. Madness is being what we would call in America crazy. Keep going.
And after that, they go to the dead.
Then they're gone. Then they're in the grave. Go ahead.
Verse 4, for to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope.
Read that again.
For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope.
Read it again.
For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope.
Brother, as long as you are alive, I don't care what problems you think you have. So many women, they want to die because they think they need to lose weight. I mean, I go, well, that's one solution. I guess if you was dead, you would lose a lot of weight if you were dead. The worms would gain weight, but you would lose weight. I guess that's one solution. Or, if you know, really, if you're alive, you could really solve any problem. Right. If you just would live, right? As long as you are alive, if you're in prison, brother, you can solve that problem. It doesn't mean you should hang yourself in prison. It seems like you should hang yourself because you're in prison. A lot of little children hang themselves. Why? Peer pressure in school. Some crew in school doesn't like them. Some little girl on the internet is bullying you, so you go hang yourself in the goddamn shower because, of course, this is the worst problem ever. Here's what you don't know. As long as you don't hang yourself in the shower, we can fix all of those problems. Oh, man, we can get new friends. Better than those sluts and whores at your school. Better than them. We can get brand new friends. Brand new school. Hell, you understand, you could do anything. You could transfer out of the school, leave the school. You know what you could do, too? This will blow your mind. You could actually block them on social media. Right. Damn. You don't have to kill yourself. Right. I mean, if you got to kill yourself, okay. Right. But you could just block them on social media, and live. The point is, as long as you're alive, we have a world of options to end your problems and in your suffering. Because while you're alive, there is hope. Keep going.
For a living dog is better than a dead lion.
You better believe that, brother. A living dog is better than a dead lion. There ain't no good in being dead. There ain't nothing profitable about it. It ain't nothing. Some of you nut Israelites think you should die like Jesus. You think you should, Jesus was whipped and died, and I must sacrifice myself. Christ was the greatest man to ever live, never sinned, and died for us. What in the hell good is it going to do us if you die? When you a piece of garbage. Well, what help is that? Oh, you heard he died? Oh, no, now what? He should have been dead years ago with the garbage he did. You won't be saving the world by dying. Everybody understands that? But if you lived, then we could save a lot of people together. If you were to live. If you were to stop doing the things in your life that cause death, that cause you to die, then maybe all of us together who are alive could go out and save more lives. If you are alive. Keep going.
For the living know that they shall die.
The living, now when you're alive, you can be afraid because you know death is coming one day. It scares a lot of children, scares a lot of people. You worry, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God, my health, and this and that, and I got to be vegan. I got to do this. I got to drink to this and eat the drink to smoke the sage or whatever. It's scary to know that you might die one day. I understand. A lot of you are afraid to take the vaccine. I get it. You're afraid of things, and you're afraid of microchips and afraid of bugs and small things you can't see in a microscope. I understand it. But you're alive, brother. You're alive. And the fear of death comes with being alive. It's part of it, right? It's how a zebra runs fast. A zebra is born, comes out of that mother zebra's vagina, hits the ground, count to 30. He's up and running. Up and running, 30 seconds gone. Why? Because death is coming. Because the lion is there. Because that lion is killing little zebras. You count to 30 seconds, that zebra is up and running next to his mother and gone, right? Every death is part of life, and the fear of it is part of life, but you have to compartmentalize it, or else you will live in death, and you will never actually live. The living know that they will die. That little zebra knows that he better get the hell up, quick. You know that you better watch what you do. You better be careful. You better look out for that and look out for this. You know that because you know that death is coming, and that's a scary thought. Keep going.
Con on one con. But the dead know not anything.
But you know what? You might think it's terrible to know that death is coming. You know what's worse? Knowing nothing. And the dead don't know anything. They're not afraid of anything. Nothing. They're not scared of nothing. They ain't worried about nothing. They don't think about nothing. They're dead. That's terrible. You want to live. You want to fight to live. This school is here not to pursue a way to die, but to pursue life everlasting, to pursue life that's better than the death we were all in before this. Keep going.
Neither have they any more a reward.
Now they're dead, so no reason to congratulate them on anything, or to clap for them, or to, give them a gift because they did an achievement. They're done achieving. It's over for them. That's that. So we all have to look at death and not desire it, which so many of us desire it. I'll get to my point in 1 second. Come on.
Salaki, I got Ecclesiasticus 38, which basically goes into how mourning can kill you.
Give him that, and I got to move on. Give him that.
Con, this is Ecclesiasticus 38 and verse 17 and 18. Weep bitterly and make great moan, and use lamentation as he is worthy, and that a day or two lest thou be evil spoken of, and then comfort thyself for thy heaviness.
That's it, brother. You want to do it a day or two. You want to give yourself a little time to mourn this person, especially so everyone can know that you mourn for this brother or sister who is important to you.
Right.
That's good too, because they'll feel disrespected by you not mourning for them. But then after that, you better get yourself together.
Right.
You better do it. Anything else? Just hit me one more time, please. There's one part in this I need to get to, Abun. Go ahead. I appreciate it, bro. Put a little more ice in the next time.
Did you want verse 7 where it says, go thy way, sir?
Yes.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 7. Go thy way. Eat thy bread with joy.
Do what?
Eat thy, so I could go thy way. Eat thy bread with joy.
There's another precept that tells you that you have to push bitterness out of your mind. Like, you can't wait to get over things. So many of you just sit and wake up every day and go, I'm still bothered by this. This is still vexing me. Yeah, it's still vexing you. Why wouldn't it? What are you going to do about it? You better fight that spirit of depression and sadness that comes on you for anything. Now, when someone dies, you believe you have a good excuse to go into an absolute depression. Right. You do not. We need you. We need your laughs and jokes and fun and happiness. We need some memories with you. While you thinking about the memories of that cat that died, we need to make some memories. So come make some with us and get your damn self together. That's it. Next. Any questions in the room? Solid. Next online. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know the scripture I use. I can use that for mainly older people. Like the statistic about spouses, older spouses.
You gotta. I don't.
Meaning,
understand.
like they say that when one elder spouse dies, the other one will die within a year later because of the lack of the other.
That's one statistic. I mean, it's a rarely. You will use it rarely.
Okay.
The one you'll use it more is my friend got killed, and now I'm living an absolutely destructive life because I really want to die also. My friend got shot. I mourn him and get so high and so drunk and on so much drugs, and I go do more crime and more drugs and more crime. Now someone is sad about me dying. And the people that are sad about me, guess what they do? They smoke more weed and more drugs and look up in the sky and pour liquor out for me and talk about me, and then they die. And then you understand? It just keeps going on and on. A lot of you with your grandmama dying, man, you wouldn't ruin your whole life over your grandmama dying. You got to stop doing that. Grandmothers are supposed to die. That's what they do. They're grandmamas. You like somebody that buys a dog, a puppy, and when the puppy died, well, you jump off a damn bridge? Well, when you got that pet, who did you think was going to go first? You understand, if you get a pet, the best thing that could happen is that pet dies before you. Right? Because you understand the other way. Right? If you don't mourn your pet mourns you. Now, so when you buy a pet, well, what do you want out of this situation? Do you want to never mourn this pet? Because you don't have to. You could just have him sitting up there. Is that what you want? Because if you bring a pet in your house, it's going to die one day. Hopefully, before you. Well, grandmamas they are supposed to die. You know what your grandmother is thinking? Thank God that I will outlive my grandchild. Your grandchild doesn't want to outlive you. If whoever's in here that's a parent or a husband, you know that you don't ever want to outlive your wife or your child. You don't want that. Like, it's damn near a guarantee. Like, okay, Lord, well, just take me before you take them. Like, make sure that they're going to be sad over me, but I ain't sitting sad over no child. Do you want that? No. Parents are supposed to die. That's normal, natural life. Grandparents supposed to die even more than them because, of course, they're a lot older than them. But because of the evil in the hearts of men, people are suffering their children dying, young people dying. That's a terrible goddamn thing. But a grandparent, come on, man. Mourn your grandmom, sing a little bit to her. That's another thing you got to stop doing. You got them damn songs you listen to. That's why you can't get over anything. Right. Okay, your grandmom died, you got to stop with the pictures and the Facebook posts and with the little area over the mantle with the candles and the damn pictures and the whole thing, you are making yourself sad. Like you're on purpose trying to cry, which is good for a time. But after that, you better get yourself together. In the back.
I'm glad you brought that up because a couple weeks ago you taught a class and you mentioned something about the ashes. Somebody had asked if you be around ashes, are you unclean?
You're clean. Don't sweat that. Remember, it's like a quarantine. You're worried about catching the thing that killed them, which is why a funeral, you have to be unclean 7 days. The ashes of dead people and dead unclean things are everywhere. That's why they call oil fossil fuel. You get my point? Because that is literally the corpses of dead things that you're putting in your car. Now, dead things that are clean to eat? No. Dead thing, everything. People, animals, plants, it's a fossil. If you don't know, a fossil is an animal.
Right.
It's an animal. Animals die in the earth, and when they die, their bodies decay down to the oils in your skin right now. They decay down and they become oil. And that's what gasoline is. It's a fossil fuel. It's the remnants of dead people and animals. That's what it is. You can just go Google this if you need to do it, all right? You can touch it. You understand? You can touch oil. You can touch gasoline. You can touch it. You can touch the dirt, although damn near all dirt is dead people. Do you understand? You can touch it because it's the process of what it's decayed into. It's not that thing anymore. Do you understand? Now, is it an Israelite custom to keep the ashes of a dead person? Absolutely not. And it is a dishonorable burial. It's dishonorable to the person that died to have them cremated. Some people in the world want to be dishonored. That's up to them, right? But someone in the truth would never want to be cremated. It is an heathenistic custom. You get my point? So no one in the truth would take ashes and put them somewhere. Young brother in the back? Cremated means burned. Like you get your body, a dead person, somebody dies, and they take the body and they burn the body. Many black people do it just because it is the cheapest burial, to burn the body. To burn them might be 3,000 to 5,000. To bury them 10,000, 15,000. All right. So most people will opt to that because of poverty, but it's dishonorable. All right. Everybody understands. So you should never keep any ashes in your house ever. But if you walk into someone else's house with ashes, it doesn't matter. You're fine. You're clean. Everybody understands. Come on, up front.
If I may, shall I have a precept?
Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verse 16. 16 to 17, sir. My son, let tears fall down over the dead and begin to lament, as if
Lament
thou
means
hadst
cry. That's what lament means. All right, go ahead.
As if thou had suffered great harm thyself.
Go ahead.
And then cover his body according to the custom, and neglect not his burial.
Cover his body according to the custom. Our custom is to cover him with dirt, to bury him. And don't neglect it. Do it. It's honorable. Keep going.
Verse 17, weep bitterly and make great moan.
Cry over him. The Lord tells you that the tears that fall for a good man, he deserves them. She deserves them. You should cry over a person that meant a lot to you. That's the right thing to do. Keep going.
And use lamentation as he is worthy.
As he is worthy. Use crying as he is worthy. Cry over him because he's worthy of it. Keep going.
And that a day or two.
And you do that a few days. Right? Remember, that no number in the Bible is exact. A day or two is just like it sounds. You know, a couple of days, a few days, a little bit of days. Right? A short time, you want to mourn him. Keep going.
Lest thou be evil spoken of.
Keep going. I think that's the one Abaji's already read, correct?
Sir.
That's the same. He read that a minute ago. But you just read more of it. But that's a perfect precept as well. I'm done with this, all right? How's it hard?
So I wanted to say that the thing with the fossil fuel, that's deep, because in the Middle East where all the oil is at, And in the past kingdoms, that's where all the action was going on, and all
Forget
the dead
about it.
bodies.
A lot of bodies under that sand. A lot of animals, you think every scorpion will become fossil fuel. Every scorpion, every beetle, everything that goes in that dirt becomes fossil fuel. And that's that. All right? Captain up front.
Genesis, the 5th chapter, when it talks about the book of the generations of Adam. Now, usually I show where it omits Abel and Cain, even though we know Cain has a lineage in Genesis, the 4th chapter. When it says male and female created he them and blessed them, how do I counter people thinking that it's talk? Because some people teach that Genesis, the 1st chapter, is the creation. And then Genesis 2, when it talks about Adam, it's retelling the same story in Genesis 1.
You got to show me. I'm not quite.
Okay, concept. So in Genesis 1 and I'm just going to it. So in Genesis 1 and 26, it says, and God said, let's make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish in the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle, over all the earth, over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So now this is the creation of mankind on the 6th day. So now what they teach is that in Genesis, the 2nd chapter, after verse 4, it's verse 5 is a retelling of chapter 1.
Okay, let's hear it.
So this is Genesis 2, and I'm going to start at 4. It says, these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made them, made the earth and the heavens.
And what did Genesis 1 say?
Genesis 1 gives each day where it's given a timeline of each thing that was created.
Okay.
And
Genesis
so
1 gives a timeline.
Right.
This one says these are the generations.
Right. So from 1 through 4, it's like the Lord rested on the 7th day, and he looked at his completion at verse 4.
Okay.
So after verse 4, when they get to verse 5, it says this is when it's retelling the same story.
And what do we teach when it comes to what you're talking about?
We teach that Adam was just given the truth, like the breath of life.
And how is that different than what they teach?
They teach that Adam and Eve were the first 2 people on the planet only.
And they do that based on Genesis 1? Oh, because of the male and female.
Right, kind of what kind.
Okay, go back to, I got you.
Kind of what kind, sir.
Go back to Genesis 1 again.
Kind of what kind, sir. So in Genesis 1 and 27, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So they look at this as Adam and Eve being created. And then Genesis, the 2nd chapter, is telling you how it was done.
Okay, read Genesis 1 one more time.
Kind of what kind, sir. So I'm going to start at 26 and 27. 20, Genesis 1 and 26 says, and God said, let us make...
Let me catch up with you one
Yes,
second.
sir. That's what I said.
Okay. Bear with me. So we had Genesis
1 and 20, kind, sir. 26, sir.
26.
Kind of what kind, sir.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Kind of what kind, sir. Verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Verse 27, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
Okay.
I can keep going if you want, sir.
I got you. Keep going.
Kind of what kind. Verse 28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Okay, and where is the 6th day at? Are we in the 6th day right now? Or
Kind of what kind, sir.
We in the
at
6th
verse
day in
31,
this verse?
concept. At verse 31, it says, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good.
Verse
and
31.
Kind of what
in
kind,
Genesis
sir.
1 and 31.
Yes, sir. Genesis 1 and 31. It says, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good, and the evening and the morning were the 6th day.
I got you.
Kind of what
I
kind.
understand now. Okay, what's your question?
So my question is in Genesis 5 and 1, when it talks about these are the generations of Adam. In Genesis 5 and 1, it says, This is the book of the generations of Adam, in the day that God created man. In the likeness of God made he him.
There's one part I'm missing up here in Genesis 1 I need to find.
Yes, sir.
1 second.
Come on, sir.
Where is the on the earth? Bring up everything out that walk upon the earth. Where is that at?
That might be
I need to go before this one. Hold on.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead.
How exactly is it worded?
It's like the creation of man, but it's not this one. It's another one. It doesn't quite say man. Two great lights. Say again.
Verse 25, that people upon the earth after his time.
I think you're right. Hold on.
I believe that's the other beast, though.
Yes, this is the one I want.
Oh, okay.
Let's look up creep.
creep, she said, sir?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look
that's
up
what you
the
need.
word creep.
Yes. Just tell me the different definitions for creep. I think the breakdown is coming back to me. I think I understand your question.
Kind of what kind, sir?
Let me just look up creep and then I'll be done, all right?
Yes, sir.
Salakia, sir, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Creep. Move slowly and carefully in order to avoid being heard or noticed. 2. Of a plant grow along the ground or other surface by means of extended stems or branches.
Those are the only two definitions?
That I see, sir. Khan.
The first one is good. All right. If you can find more definitions for creep that sound like walk,
Salakia.
go ahead.
From 7430, a reptile or any other rapidly moving animal that creepeth, creeping, moving.
Not that. I mean the definition. For the word creep. The first one
For
is
the
good.
word creep itself, sir?
Yeah.
Kind of, sir.
I'll give you one more second, then I'll move on, all right?
Kind of what kind, sir? There's a few move slowly, carefully in order to avoid being heard or noticed.
Hold up. I think I just remembered something. Hold on one second.
Kind of what kind, sir?
Okay. 25.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay.
Salakia.
Go ahead, Al.
The slow change of dimensions of an object from prolonged exposure to high temperature or stress.
Yeah, that's different. That's climate creep. I get that. Go ahead. How's the hop?
Old English Creole plan to move the body near or along the ground as a reptile or insect does.
Similar, but not quite. In the back.
To move along with the body prone and close to the ground, to move slowly on hands and knees, to go very slowly,
All
to
that's
go
good.
timidly or cautiously so as to escape notice.
All that is very good. I'll take that unless you have another one I can move on. I don't need it. But if you want to bring it up, go ahead, up. Go ahead.
Okay, a slow but persistent increase or elevation?
No, not that. The one what you're basically describing is walking, but walking in the way that
I get what you're saying.
that early man used to walk.
Kind of what kind.
Early man would walk like that. What you would call today the Paleolithic time. Or-
Paleolithic.
Paleolithic time, or like the Neanderthals or the Cro-Magnon, to walk scraping upon the earth like an animal, which is exactly how early man used to walk according to scientists.
Right.
Which is how they walk. You don't quite need it, but I'll explain the question. Let me just get it one more time. Go ahead.
So the
So
question.
now they're saying that this right here, let us make man in our image. They're saying that is a retelling of what?
So they saying Genesis 1 is when Adam and Eve were created, and then in Genesis 2 is telling you how they were made. So Adam gets the breath of life breathed into him. Eve comes from the rib. So they saying that's what Genesis 2.
So are they saying that Eve actually came from a rib?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Kind of,
Okay.
And then they try to prove it with Genesis 5 and 1. And it says this is the generations of Adam in the image of God created he them. Now, even though Cain's lineage is not in there, it's in Genesis the 4th chapter, they still try to find a way to put it in there. So I don't know if I'm overthinking the breakdown.
Okay, this right here in Genesis 1 is not physical creation. It's the same creation as in Genesis 2. And I'll show you at the end of it, right? It's the exact same thing. Read where you had it from.
Genesis 1 or 2, sir?
Genesis 1, and first let's read the one that we know is a spiritual creation.
Okay, so
which is Genesis 2, correct?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, read that.
So Genesis 2 and 7. And the Most High God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So
most brothers and sisters in the UPK know that that is the spiritual creation of Adam, meaning Adam came into the truth. He went from the dead unto the living.
Right.
All of us were dead in the world, and now we are alive. This is the exact creation that Christ also gave to the nation of Israel.
Right.
We went from being dead to alive. Your precepts are Ezekiel, right? The dry bones precept, right? Go ahead, Al.
Ezekiel 37 and 4.
Thank you. And your precepts are Christ saying it all the time, that you had to be born again.
Right.
That you had that now you were dead and now you are alive. You get the point, right? In the parable of the prodigal son, right? Where Christ said, when the son asked, why do you celebrate? You don't celebrate for me. You don't give me a ring.
Right.
You don't have a party for me. He said, well, you are always with me and I love you. But your brother was dead and now he is alive.
Right.
That's what happened with Adam. Everybody understands. Now, here's what fake Israelites or Christians or whatever they are don't understand. In Genesis 1, this is also a spiritual birth right here. And it's saying it right here. It's just not specifically. He's reading it for me. You're breaking the whole thing down. All right. This also is a spiritual birth, right? It's not when he. Let's read it. Come on.
You want Genesis 1, sir?
1 and 25.
Sir. Genesis chapter 1, verse 25. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and God saw that it was good.
Now, right here, this is the 6th day, correct?
Yes, this is in the 6th
Right
day.
here is when people were made. Right here. Everything on the earth that creeps was made here. Everybody understands? Right here. People were made on the 6th day. Everyone. Everything that's walking, creeping upon the earth was made. And people crept upon the earth. Go look, give me something old up here about old, the way people used to be. Hairy and picking in the rocks, trying to see finding out what an oyster is and sucking everything, low-abased, dirty people. That's what people used to be. Now, you might need that to really understand. Right. And this, once again, proves that the Bible is real science.
Right.
This is real science. Because science knows that people used to behave like this.
Right.
People didn't have a dietary law. They sucked everything, tasted everything they saw. Everything. They made bowls out of their grandfather's skulls. Right. They didn't bury the dead. The dead decayed right there, and they made tools out of their bones. That's scientific fact from finding the damn tools made from bones. Give me early man. Early man is good. Early man. There was a time, Mark, when people were just grubby, basically animals. Just, they didn't have a law or intelligence, right, which is what they did not have. Alexa on? I don't think she's unplugged. Somebody plug her up for me real fast. Zabala one in the back. Go ahead.
That's super heavy what you just said about, because kids do that, babies do that now. They put anything and everything.
Here we go. If you look at a baby who does what? Crawls on the ground. That baby puts everything in their mouth. Everything. You can't say, listen, baby, don't eat shrimp or crab or lobster. Tell that to a little baby. What will they do? Throw up on you. They don't know what in the hell you're talking about. Why? Because they don't have the intelligence. That's a good one. You see this? This is early man right here. You see this cat all crouched down like them? That's early man. Low and disgusting. Now, what if you went to him and said, listen, man, you're unclean 7 days after a burial. what would he do? Hit you over the head with a rock, right? Scientists know that early man did not have the intelligence to obey God.
Right.
They didn't have it. They were just base, grummy, just things that crawl.
Right.
That was people, and that's what science says. That's undebatable. In the back.
Salakia, sir, they have the movies of when the time was like this and they didn't even speak. They would just go,
crack you over the head, punch you in the face, take your wife, have sex with her right in front of you. Eat what? Eat anything. Eat whatever they smelled and tasted and seemed like you could digest it. That's it. That was people. Then some brother changed things. Some brother had something that they did not have. Some brother was sentient. That's the word you need to understand. Sentientness. This is from science, and it's from the Bible. All right? Adam was sentient. Adam was smarter than everyone else. Come on. Give him a hand. That's exactly what it is. Intelligence. What separates you from the beast? What separates you from the beast? What makes you not a beast? Zadok. What makes you not a wild animal? Why don't you eat people? Why do you care whether or not someone is human as opposed to a chicken or a cow? How do you know what you're not supposed to do? Huh? How do you know what you're not supposed to do? Please. The Bible. How are you able to understand the Bible? Because I gave my turtle the Bible one time, and he didn't know what in the hell was in there. Right? So what separates me from the beast? Zabala one. Intelligence. Intelligence. That is what Adam was given. Intelligence. That Adam was given something where they said, man, let's give people this. Right. And now people are going to be able to have this. Before that, people didn't have it. People didn't know what to do. Adam showed them what to do. Adam, which is what makes all people different from animals today. Listen, if you give me some base, tribe in Africa,
right,
there is a rock that they consider God. Some rock. And he's God, and they follow his rules. Animals don't do that.
Right.
Do you understand? Animals cannot understand the concept of God or rules. But you give me any base person in South America who walks around naked. They have a cantaloupe that is God, and that cantaloupe tells them to do this, tells them to do that. They have the intelligence to be able to understand God. And that's what you're reading about right here. You're not reading about Adam and Eve coming into the truth right here. You're reading about people being given sentientness right here. You're not reading about the physical creation of people right here. You're reading about the intelligence that was given to people right here. You get my point? And that's all you need. Adam was given the truth in Genesis 2, right? That's where Adam got the truth on the seventh day. At Genesis 1, people were given the ability, the intelligence to understand the law right here. Do you understand? And people have that to this day, and you can just go research some anthropologists who, there's some people, who are those people on some island abundant, no one has ever even, like 10 people have seen them.
Right.
Well, guess what? They got a pineapple over there that's God. A coconut that's God. And the coconut said, we got to kill you. Coconut said, we could only do this. The coconut said, we could put a spike through our penises and roll it up. Right? That's African tribes, right? Right. Well, where's the cow? Where's the cow that has a culture based on a belief in God? Where's the lion that has a belief system? Right. Animals don't have that because of Genesis 1 and 26. People have that. Animals don't have that. People are sentient. Alexa,
Sorry.
what is sentientness? Oh,
The
shit.
Simpsons is
You
an
can do it on your phone
animated
if you
show
need to.
starring Dan Castellaneta.
Alexa.
Man,
What does it mean to be sentient?
as an adjective, sentient can have a couple meanings. 1.
That's
Having
the
the
word you
power
wanna-
of perception by the senses, conscious. 2. Characterized by sensation and consciousness.
Stop right there. She just gave it to you. To be conscious, the conscious community. Consciousness. That's what humans were given in Genesis 1 and 26. Consciousness. Animals are not conscious. You understand? You can't give them a Bible or, make them understand anything because they are all instinct. They don't have the ability to understand what people can understand. But even every race on the planet, whether they're educated or not, every people has a God. And no animal has any God. No animal exists that has a God. This is from Genesis 1 and 25. Read it.
Kind of a concept. Verse 25. And God said, make.
You better read 20. Yeah, I'm sorry, 25, then 26, right?
Kind of a concept.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
25 is where you just broke down
The
with
beast.
creeping.
Read that one more time, then go
One
to
concept.
26. Go ahead.
And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind.
And remember, of course, the Zaryak, you can break them down with this,
Right.
the beast
Beasts
of the field.
As you were saying that, that's what I was thinking
Forget
about Genesis
about it.
3rd chapter.
The
Kind of a
Lord
concept.
calls these other nations
Beasts.
because they're still like that.
That's what I was concept.
They're
Kind
just
of a
like that,
concept.
sucking every oyster, putting everything in their mouth, crawling around, digging in the sand to see what they can eat, killing. In Europe, they eat horse meat. Eat it like crazy. In Europe, it's in the butcher shop, meaning like a hamburger. It's not a crazy thing. Over there in Italy, they eating horse like crazy. They're them. They're beasts. This is when people, animals, everything was created right here on this 6th day.
Kind of a concept.
Everything. Hazahab.
I sent a video about this tribe called the Tulambi people, where they meet a white man for the first time, and they stick matches in their mouth and all that. They don't know what to do with it.
Go ahead.
Khan, I was gonna say another one is that these East Indians, when they killed that white Christian that tried to come over in the boat, and they just saw him and just
They killed him. What the hell they know? Keep going.
Kind of a concept.
Go ahead, Ar.
You want us to get the video on TV?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Okay.
And everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and God saw that it was good. Verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image.
The Lord looks down at people and goes, this ain't right. Like, these people are not acting like us. We live our life on a higher level. We are conscious. We are sentient. We're dignified and have rules. And we made these people, and they're basically beasts of the field.
Right.
They're animals. They behave like animals. It's not right. They looked at it, and after they made people and saw that they were, and then go, nah, this ain't gonna work. Let's do something different. Hey, let's make people like we are. Let's give them consciousness. Let's make them sentient. Let's do that. Keep going.
Let us make man in our image.
That's what. Okay, this is what you need, and maybe the cats you're battling don't know. Image is, of course, not talking about looking like people.
Kind of a concept.
Right? Image is behavior, and what's the precept to prove image is behavior? Ooh, it's a good one too. Ooh, I just pulled it for
Colossians 1
somebody.
and 15. Who is the image of the invisible power?
You might be on it.
That's Colossians 1 and 15. I think it's
no,
Colossians.
it might be 14.
Your image of the invisible power. It might be another one, but that is an excellent one because of the invisible power part.
Kind of a concept.
The invisible power part is letting you know that we're not talking about what he looks like because he is the invisible power. But we're talking about how he behaves, how he conducts himself. And even though we can't see God, we can behave as God.
Right.
We are in the image of the invisible power.
Kind of a
You have it?
concept.
Go ahead.
Colossians 1 and 15. Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature?
That's why it's saying invisible.
Right. Kind of a
Because
concept.
this is not like, well, that's God's face and that's his face. That's not
Right.
this. This is, you can't see his face, but you see the behavior of God in Christ.
Right.
Because Christ acts like God, eats like him, dresses like him, speaks like him, conducts himself among his people the way God would. That's the image that the Lord wanted people to be made in. He wanted people to be able to obey the law.
Right.
Well, for people to obey the law, they had to be given sentientness. That's a scientific word that is this precept. Let us make man in our image. Right. Because before that, people were beasts of the field.
Right.
And now, the Lord didn't like it, and he wants them to give them that thing that everyone needs to be able to obey God, which is intelligence. Those same savages on islands worshiping a coconut, guess what they can do when they're exposed to the one true living God? They can worship the God of Israel.
Right.
If they can worship a coconut, they can worship the God of Israel. The Chinese, as terrible as they are, you know, they have the ability to worship the God of Israel, and they're going to. Right. Our oppressor, as terrible as he has been, he has the ability to be good, and we're going to make him good. Oh, yeah. We're going to make him good. But now I can't make a dog obey the Bible.
Right.
I can't make a cow obey the Bible. I nothing I can do with him because he's not made in the image of God.
Right.
But every person, every race, every person has the ability to obey the law. This is where the Lord gave mankind consciousness. Genesis 6 is when they gave them direction. Do you understand? Right here is when they have the intelligence. Right. Genesis 2 is when they're given the man to follow.
Right.
Keep reading it, and it'll be right here in front of you in Genesis 1. Go ahead.
Sir.
1 second. How's it hard? How's it hard? Go ahead and play it.
Okay, Khan. So this is TV.
The Tulambis first believed white men were living dead, but they finally accepted Dutia into their midst.
Can you make that big?
No idea how to use them.
I don't know what the hell to do with them matches. They ain't never seen no matches before. They try to make fun of the poor people.
I gotta go to screenshot.
It's all right. You get the point. They don't know what the hell to do with those matches. That's ridiculous. They ain't never seen. They got a bow and arrow there, so they're able to damn make tools.
Right.
Right. They got some type of damn intelligence, which is what they got from the Lord. But of course, they've never seen a match before. They're gonna suck on it or something like that. There you go. That's human nature. Human nature is just
put it in your mouth.
Put it in your mouth. When in doubt, put it in your mouth. Just see if it's food. You know that comes from starving.
Right.
You just got to, maybe this is food. Maybe that's food. What in the hell is food? Where's food at? You get the point. The water hazahar. The Lord wanted people to have something better than that. Now, once again, even those people, they have weapons, spears, they can make tools, and almost, if not almost, all of them have a God.
Right.
All of them got some banana that they consider God. Every last one of them. Because all of them are sentient. All of them are conscious. They just don't have direction. Everybody understands. 1 second, let me keep going, Captain. Let me just finish up.
Yes, sir.
So I had a question.
You can get my locks thing together up here if you can.
Council,
Go ahead,
I had a question somewhat on subject.
Go ahead.
I was teaching basically on this subject earlier, but the question I have is about that scripture specifically in Colossians. Okay, I know that's talking about Christ, but when I was teaching it, I kept saying Yahushua, but I kept fixing myself because I didn't want to say the wrong thing. Is it accurate to say Yahushua created everything in Genesis 1?
It's not accurate to say he created everything, but that he was put in charge of creating everything.
Right.
That's a more accurate way to say.
The reason because technically that Yahushua wouldn't be born for literally eons before. Go. So would you want to say Christ, or it doesn't even matter?
Okay, they'll know who you're talking about. If you need to, you can say not Jesus.
Okay.
Not him, but the being that would be Jesus. The Son of God, the greatest of all of the angels,
Right.
greater than the angels. He made creation. He came to the earth to do the same thing. All right, go ahead.
Come on, sir. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea.
Now here we go. Let us make man in our image. Meaning, what's our image? Consciousness. To be sentient. To have the ability to understand rules and how to follow them and laws. That's our image. That's the image of God. The law. The keeping the commandments of God. That's the image of God. Keep going.
After our likeness.
What is our likeness? So that they can behave like us. Not like grubbing beasts of the field. So they can act like us, like we act, like Christ and the angels act, under the direction of God. Keep going.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea.
And now they'll have dominion over the fish of the sea. Meaning what? They'll be able to rule the fish. How do you rule a fish? A fish is out there swimming and doing what the hell he want to do. How do you rule a fish?
It's like, so because you have sentiousness or intelligence to keep the law, you decide what lives and dies.
You decide what lives and dies in the ocean. Right now, there are think about what's the fish that are gone now. I mean, they're killing everything in the ocean, from overfishing it to death, killing everything. The crabs, they just, they're eating every crab out of the ocean, eating every lobster. People have dominion over the ocean, but the problem is they're not taking direction from the one that is supposed to be directing them on how to rule this planet. But people decide what fish live and what fish die. People can grow fish. People can plant them and feed them and grow them in water. You get a damn bucket, you can grow some tilapia. You can go and have a fishery and grow your own damn fish, and you can eat them, or you can not eat these, and these thrive because you don't fish these. But you need consciousness to do that. You need intelligence to decide what fish you will eat and what fish you will not eat. Keep going.
And over the fowl of the air.
Same thing. What birds will you kill? I did some research, man, on the dietary law this week. Now you bring this topic up.
Okay.
And I went, Alexa, is that her name?
Yes.
God.
Alexa, what is it healthy to eat a seagull?
I couldn't find an answer, but I'll notify you if I find one.
You gotta keep, if you turn Alexa on, she learns. You gotta keep her on and connected to that internet and keep asking her questions. She absolutely learns. Go look up in your phone, brother, and read how terrible it is. If you were on a desert island and you got nothing to eat, do not eat a seagull, because you are going to get sick and die. And I went and did all this research on these predatory animals out and how you can't eat those animals. If you eat them, you're going to get sick and die. They say never eat a goddamn seagull. Or them old seabirds, that pelicans and all that garbage. Scientists say never to eat them because they say never drink salt water and never eat a goddamn pelican or a seagull, because you're going to get sick and die. Now, before the microscope, the Lord had the law that tells us to never eat anything like that, any type of predatory bird, any type of seagull, or all of that garbage, because the Lord knows that they're going to kill you, right? We have dominion over the birds. We're not going to eat the seagull, but that chicken is going to catch hell. He is going to be in trouble, all right? And because of it, guess what? There are millions of chickens, because humans, without eating chickens, you would damn near have no chickens. But because humans eat chickens, chickens are everywhere. We have dominion over the birds because we're more intelligent than them. Keep going.
Kind of one concept.
1 second.
And over the cattle.
Same thing, the sheep and the cow. Keep going.
And over all the earth.
And over that, we grow cows, humans. Humans decide, I like this cow, but he's not able to handle a winter. This cow can handle a winter, but he's too small. Now you're mating these two cows together, and you're creating a Guernsey cow or a Staffordshire cow. You're creating what's the name of that good sheep I love to eat? Cotton sheep, because he's got a ton of big legs on him. And how do you get those legs? People. Right. People breed them together so they can have the most meat. There's another kind of sheep for wool. People are smarter than sheep, because sheep don't have consciousness and people do. And because of that, humans have dominion over sheep. Everybody understands. If you believe in science, here it is in the Bible right here. This is it. This is our intelligence is superior to the animals. Keep going.
And over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
And over everything that's all low down in the earth. Now humans are better than those things, not the same. Now we're better than them. Now we'll stand up on our goddamn feet, be able to walk and have intelligence, and now we'll rule monkeys and gorillas and beetles and everything else down there. Now we're in charge. Right here is when the Lord put humans in charge of the planet by giving them intelligence. You can go look it up listen, scientists can tell you when the human frontal lobe got larger. There's some time when the frontal lobe of a human just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and before you know it, he's, creating cities, not grubbing around on the damn ground like an animal. So you get this. This is human. So now, any more?
No, that's the end of that verse.
Now go to Genesis. Now go to Adam. So now you have everyone on the planet Earth, Adam's father and his family being one of them.
Right.
Who now have some sense. Everybody got a little sense now. Now, with their sense, what are they doing with that good sense? They're worshiping stars. Does a cow worship the stars? No. And that's why atheism is so stupid. You might battle some atheists as well, Captain Desire. I'll give him a hand for battling people I wouldn't talk to. Right? Here's why atheism is so stupid. Because the belief in God is what separates us from the animals.
Right.
That's what separates us, the belief in God. Because even if you worship the stars, a cow doesn't.
Right.
A dog doesn't look up at the stars and wonder what the hell is up there. If you're going to be someone who doesn't believe in any God, then you're an animal then. Then life to you is what? What you can put your penis in and eat. And that is what life it is to a cow or a dog or a rat.
Right.
That's it. You don't look up at the stars and wonder. Before Adam, people didn't look up at the stars either. They just were putting stuff in their mouth. Then the Most High gave them intelligence. Then they said, wait a minute, what's those stars up there? I worship you. The stars are my God. Adam said, hold up now. I'm glad you're smart now. But those stars are not God. God created the stars. Right. Adam directed the earth. Right. Adam showed them how to have dominion. Give him a hand. The thing just dropped. Adam showed them how to have dominion over the planet. Adam showed them what animals to eat, what animals not to eat. Before that, they had consciousness but no direction. It's just like all of us. Before we were in the truth, we had the intelligence to believe in the Most High, the God of Israel, but not the direction. But there are some people with learning disabilities that don't have the ability. And that's different than not having the direction. Adam was given the direction, and then now he can teach those people who are made conscious in Genesis 1:26.
Right.
You understand? Keep going.
Genesis 2:7. And the Most High God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
What's the dust of the ground? The people, the lower state that people were in. Worshiping stars, worshiping cantaloupes and pineapples. They had a concept of God. They had intelligence. So when Adam comes to them with the truth, they can understand it. But they were low and abased, still putting everything in their damn mouth, still eating anything, still eating horses instead of riding horses. Adam now directed that intelligence that they had. That's what he led this people that now had the consciousness to be able to receive his direction. Anymore.
It just says, and man became a living soul, sir.
Now man is alive. Right. So now Adam is in the truth. Adam is the man right here. Right. The man in Genesis 1:25 is mankind. Right? It's people, all races in general. But the creation is still mental. In Genesis 1:25.
25 is the beast. 26.
You got it. You know what I'm talking about.
Totally
right?
got it.
And the precept is Genesis 1:1. Read that real fast and then we're done with this.
Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth.
In the beginning, that's Genesis. The Lord created the heaven and the earth. Go ahead.
And the earth was without form and void.
This is the one I want. I want Adam. I'm sorry. I meant to say 1 John. I meant to say John 1:1.
Oh, concept.
Go ahead.
John chapter 1 verse 1.
Mm-hmm. I need some precepts too.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Give me a friendness for the day of adversity. In the beginning was the Word. Who is the Word? The Word is Christ. He was with the Most High in the beginning. In Genesis, who is Christ? Christ is Adam. He was with Christ. He was with the Most High. In Genesis, Christ is Adam. Keep going.
And the same was in the beginning with God.
And the same Christ who was in the beginning, the same Christ in Genesis, was in the beginning with God, meaning the creator of all heaven and earth is the same Adam. They're the same person. In the beginning, you had Christ and the Most High, Christ, the most fervent servant of God in the fourth dimension. That's the same one that was with God in Genesis. Everybody understands. It's right in front of you. How's the hub?
After that, we have 1 Corinthians.
Hang on to it. Go ahead.
All things were made by him.
Everything you see was made by him. Christ led creation under God's authority and then came down to the earth to lead creation of the earth under God's authority. What do I mean by creation? Subduing it. Mm-hmm. Look at this world, man. Imagine a world in chaos. Imagine, a giant forest, disheveled and out of whack and overgrown plants and plants everywhere and swamps. And the Lord gave Adam superior intelligence to the people that were already given consciousness. He gave Adam superior intelligence. Right. And he turned that forest into a garden. Does everyone understand? He turned that forest into the Garden of Eden. What's the difference between a forest and a garden? Order. Carrots here, cucumbers here, trees here, roads here, horses here, cows here. He turned that forest into a garden. Why? Direction, intelligent direction from God. What the white man calls, what's the word he calls for the belief in God? Intelligent creation? Intelligent? What is it, Abun? It's some word that scientists use for the belief in God.
Monotheism.
Not that.
Creationism, sir.
But it's something intelligent creation. It's the word intelligent is in there somewhere, but that's close
Not
to
design, right, sir?
Intelligent design? I believe that sounds like the word I'm looking for. Intelligent design, where people aren't just tasting and trying and doing things. People are directed. Say again?
Intelligent design, a theory that life of the universe cannot have arisen by the chance and was designed and created by some intelligent entity.
And listen, and that's just like an animal lot. Okay, if you believe that everything here is by accident, who else believes that? An animal. You say, well, animal, there's some food here. How'd it get here? Just appeared.
Right.
Well, listen, dog, there's some food over there. It's raining. You're lying out in the woods, in the jungle. You're starving and you got no water. Then it rains, and now this puddle fills up with water and you can drink. Hey, lion, how'd that water get in that puddle? Hey, I know. It's here. How's it here? By accident. It just show up. I don't know how it gets here. So the belief, what's the word? Atheism is like what? Shit just happens? Like you're like the lion. You're like, there's water here. It wasn't no water before. Now it's here. How'd it get here? Hey, it just show up. It's just, now you're getting food. You were starving before. Now you're getting food. There's a time in Africa when it's a time of want during the drought season, where because it's a drought, the land is barren, and when the land is barren, the antelope and the buffalo don't travel because there's no food. And when the antelope and the buffalo don't travel, the lions starve. Right. The lions starve in the drought because of the drought. Now ask the lion why he's starving the same time every damn year. You know what he'll say? By accident, it just happens.
Right.
For nothing. That's atheism. To just believe that everything is just happening for nothing and no reason. You have to have real intelligence to see God's intelligence. Right. You have to see that there is clearly a system. Why would it be one season that is the season of drought? Right. Why wouldn't drought just skip around all the time? Right. Because God wants you to know when you are going to have to prepare for hunger. Right. So he makes the forest fire season is every year, same time every year. Right. The drought season, same time every year. Right. Why? So you can prepare. But a cow is never going to prepare. A lion will never prepare because they don't believe in God. Everybody understands. All right. I'm good to go for now.
I'm good to go, sir.
Everybody gets that. That's what you need. All right. The whole image is what you need, and you locked in solid. Okay, go ahead. Come on.
Khan, sir. General Katham had a question. Breakdown on Jeremiah 35:19. Jonadab shall not want a man to stand before me forever. Jonadab in help King Jehu in 2 Kings 10:15.
I don't understand.
Yeah, Khan.
Let me know when I need to go into my topic, all right?
Khan. Salaki, we at 8:33 right now. Okay, Salaki, sir, if a brother, this is Kwashab Ban Yahawada. Salaki, sir, if a brother has narcissistic actions and traits, what should you tell them to help?
I would first question if you even know what the hell narcissistic traits are. You probably don't know what the hell that is. You should talk to your camp leader. Let him decide if somebody is narcissistic. You just focus on you not being narcissistic. Because you know who always thinks people are narcissistic? Narcissistic people. Narcissistic people think everyone is narcissistic. Jesus Christ. That's not a one West word, Akim. All right. You're so narcissistic. That word is feminine.
Right. Salakia?
I was about to say.
I said feminine.
Okay, Salakia.
All right. Moving on. Any other questions?
Khan, next question is...
Let me get Levi. Go ahead.
Salakia.
You asked for a precept. I believe you said friends.
What was it about? Oh, hold that. I need that for the locks versus the dipset. Go ahead.
You also,
Hazahab, come on.
Right quick, sir. What's a scripture I can use for people that want to deny the vaccine or deny use of the vaccine?
It's just it's just ignorance. That's all. They're animals. You know, if you go over to your dog, whoever have a dog, raise your hand. You ever try to give him the shots? What does he do? He's running now. That dog is terrified of that thing now. He don't know what that is. He don't know what that is. You know, you got to give him some food, put some food in front of him, or sneak up behind him. I try to give him some shots, I sneak up behind him. I put some food down in front of him because since he's a base creature, all he knows is what to put in his mouth and eat. That's why people who are afraid of vaccines are not afraid of marijuana. They're not afraid of that. When the government, who loves conspiracies? Listen carefully. There is a conspiracy to get you to smoke weed.
Right.
How do you know? It's not a secret.
Right.
The government literally sells weed. Literally. Not imaginatively. They literally sell weed in smoke shops on every damn corner, and they create tax money, and they own the farms in California.
Right.
And there are strains of weed, different strains of weed to get you more and more high, and they put it in candy and gummy bears for children. There is absolutely a known conspiracy to get you to smoke weed. At the same time, the violence in America is historical. Everyone is killing everyone. I wonder why. When did weed become legal? About last year. When did the violence begin to become historical? About last year. Right? Everyone is getting high, and everyone is killing everyone. There is a conspiracy to get you high so you can kill each other, and it's not a secret. I didn't search this out on some secret website. You can just look this up. The government sells weed. That's it. It's done. It's a conspiracy. The vaccine is you just being afraid of needles. That's all. Black people invented vaccines. Black people. Vaccines are black. Vaccines were invented by a black man in Boston. Give Boston a shout out. Boston. Who's the camp leader in Boston? Who's the young brother named? Rakabia. The Rakabia. That's where vaccines come from. I did this before. I don't got to do it again, do I? You can go look this up. It was a slave in Boston who went over to his master. This cat was slick and had his wits. He was conscious. He was intelligent. And he was trying to get this slave master to give him more bread, more money, more passes. That's another slave term. A pass, like a ghetto pass, that's from slavery. Right? You got passes from your slave master to leave the plantation and go to see the girls on the next plantation. And to go travel all around, but you had to have him sign it so you could get a pass, right?
Right.
He wanted those passes and that treatment. And he went and saw that white people were dying like crazy of smallpox. And he went and showed his master how over here in the slave quarters, we're not dying of smallpox. And he said, and the master said, how in the hell are you doing this? He said, man, listen, we get this cat, he got a lot of smallpox. We go stab him with this little needle. We take a little bit of it, and we inject the healthy people with just a little bit of what he got under the skin. We get a little sick, but then we never get smallpox. He went in there, brother, and the slave master said, I need one word for you to look up at your diet. Look up that they refused to take vaccines in Boston because because vaccines were black. And they didn't want to take any Negro medicine. Look that up. You can look that up and find that. The white man went and told everybody, listen, my slaves have the cure for smallpox. It's killing everybody. You know what people said? We don't trust those vaccines. That's a nigger medicine. And we're not going to take it. Give me that video I pulled fast so I can get to this locks thing. Last thing before locks. Someone else found a thing about Boston, the slave that invented it, and it was in the Boston newspaper, the Boston Herald or the Boston something, where the slave man, the master was trying to tell all the white people, but they rejected it, saying it was slave medicine or nigger medicine. Okay.
Salaki, I got a article on what you're talking about the Boston.
Please, fast.
Concert, give me 1 second just to screen share so everybody can see it.
I'm going to play about 2 minutes of this. Another reason that black people are afraid of the vaccine is because of the ignorance about the Tuskegee experiment. Okay, what is the Tuskegee experiment? Someone, let me get a young brother. You.
Salaki, sir, it's where
Give him the microphone.
The Tuskegee experiment is where they vaccinated a certain portion of Negroes with the vaccine and then
Wrong.
gave another.
That's not right. That's not what it is. Listen, I know that's the point. We hear the story about the Tuskegee experiment from preachers and scared men, but that's just not what it is. Right. It's not at all. I know you know. Someone I know you know too in the back. Give me someone young, Hazahab, you know too. Young brother, go.
Tuskegee experiment was a device.
First of all, the Tuskegee experiment, before you go on, has nothing to do with a vaccine. It's not about a vaccine.
It was a
It's not a.
it was an evil act by the white man.
What was the act?
It was to kill off the.
What did they do?
They injected.
Wrong.
La.
You see that? That's from black myth and culture. That didn't happen. And we're in the. What are we in? The truth. That's not the horror and the evil act of the Tuskegee experiment is that they did not inject. That's the horror of the Tuskegee experiment. I got to play the video now. Here it is right here. I'm going to play it right now. It's no big deal. That's all. Let's just play it from the beginning. About 3 minutes. You got to pause it as I say to pause it. Okay, go ahead.
Concert. 1 second. Let me just. Just so they can get it.
In 1966, I was working for the U.S. Department of Public Health here in San Francisco. One day, I was talking with some fellow workers, and somebody mentioned the Tuskegee study. And I asked about it, and he said, well, yeah.
I gotta just have a little amount for you know, to have some discipline, Tazaria. Just 2 fingers, that's all, just this much. Go ahead.
Khan, Salaki, give me a second just to run it.
LeBron?
You would also wanted to go into purple or whatever?
Let's get it all real fast. Let's go quickly. Let's move faster.
A black man who had been insane and gone into his private physician and been treated for syphilis. And later the private physician had been contacted and told that the man should not have been treated, that he was a participant, a voluntary participant in a human experiment on untreated syphilis.
I certainly think to have used human beings as guinea pigs.
Syphilis.
I certainly think
treated that he was a participant, a voluntary participant in a human experiment on untreated syphilis.
On what
I certainly think to have used human beings as guinea.
You having problems? Okay. On what kind of syphilis? Say it again.
Untreated.
Say it again.
Untreated.
Keep going.
Khan cancer.
Pigs. And I think that's what we have here.
Well, the autopsy evidence that we have available to us indicate that syphilis was definitely the cause of death in 7.
Considering the state of medical art at that time, there was a consensus that many patients did just as well without treatment as those who did have treatment.
Pause it. Okay, you got to rewind that a little, but come on. I know that about 10% of you even going to understand what the hell I'm saying, which is making me want to just move on. Okay? I'm going to try to do this. But if you could just listen for a second, you might be able to free yourself from lies and to see real evil in the world. Because there is real evil here that you don't see because all you see is your own base fear. But there is real evil in this world. And our oppressor is the foundation of it all. And there is something so evil going on now with this vaccine that you won't quite understand at all. And I'm going to try to tell you about it. Rewind a little bit and listen. Turn it up as loud as you can. And pause it when I say pause it. If we can do it quicker, that'll be good. Go ahead.
Considering the state of medical art at that time, there was a consensus that many patients did just as well without treatment as those who did have treatment.
Pause. What did he say just now? Who heard it? Ablan.
Considering the medical science or medical consensus at that time, the people that were the people that were dealt with did as well as those who were untreated.
No, read it. Play it again. You got to hear it. Play it again.
Concert.
In 7.
Considering the state of medical art at that time, there was a consensus that many patients did just as well without treatment as those who did have treatment.
Without what?
I know
Pause. Many people did what?
Salakia.
Hold on, brother in the back. Well, what? Many people did well.
Screen share?
Finish my thought. Many people did well. Say it. Go ahead.
Many people did well as the other patients that took the treatment.
Boy, no. Good Lord. I don't think we can even do it. Okay? I don't have the time up. He just said there was a consensus at that time that many people did well who received no treatment as people that did. Many people did well without the treatment. That's what they thought. They thought that people could do well without the treatment for syphilis.
Right.
So when black people came to get the treatment for syphilis, they did not give it to them. Keep playing.
Cancer.
There were 2 patients that died, the doctor said, as a result of the treatment.
Initially, I was quite disturbed and frustrated because I had been trained to treat people with such a disease and then to see individuals who had the disease, and then these individuals being told that they weren't to take treatment.
Stop!
And
What did he just say just now?
Salaki, these individuals were told they weren't supposed to take treatment
Why did the people die from the Tuskegee experiment?
because they refused treatment to these people.
Because they did not give them the treatment. They were men with syphilis that came to get penicillin that was readily available. But they said, hey, a lot of people live without getting the treatment. And they wanted to see and study the effect that untreated syphilis would have on black people. And as far as they know, you don't need treatment anyway, a lot of you. So they would give these men a placebo, which is salt water. And they thought, the men thought they were getting penicillin. They were getting nothing. And they died of syphilis because they did not get the shot. They came to get the shot and they weren't given the shot. A little more than I have to go.
Obviously, there was conflict between what I believed in and what these people were being permitted to do. That is, they were not permitted, rather, to take treatment.
Pause.
And they certainly were.
Why did they die in the Tuskegee experiment? Play it again. No one heard it. Play it again. Play what he just said as loud as you can get it, and then that's the last cut I need.
And obviously, there was conflict between what I believed in and what these people were being permitted to do. That is, they were not permitted, rather, to take treatment.
Pause.
And they certainly were
Why
never.
did people die in the Tuskegee experiment? Brother in the back. No, not you, the brother behind you. Give him a hand. You want to know the white man is the devil? We're having a Tuskegee experiment right now. Right now. Because right now, there is a treatment. And you're not permitted to get it. You're not taking it. Which means 5 years from now, what evidence will they have? Who wants to blow my mind? Shalom, Yalla.
When you die from coronavirus.
They're going to have a study to prove the effects of the coronavirus on untreated black people. 5 years from now. They're going to have, we're doing it again. Because there is a treatment that everybody got. You can go out and get it for free. Like syphilis was. You can go to, you could have went down and got penicillin for free. But they wanted to see what would happen if you didn't get the treatment. So the men that came to get it, they put them in this study and never told the men. The men were thought they were getting penicillin to get rid of this goddamn syphilis before it ate away at their brains. Meanwhile, they were in a study without their permission. And 10 years later, you know what they knew? They knew the effects of untreated syphilis on black people. And 5 years from now, they are going to know the effects of unvaccinated people from the COVID-19 virus. You're in the study. You're in it right now, and that's why people don't want you to take the vaccine, to see what happens.
Right.
I got to move on. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. Science will profit from your death. You know what I mean, you'll die and they'll go, yeah, he died. He didn't get the vaccine. He's dead. His grandmother's dead and his mother's dead and he's dead. Write that down and write down what happened to him and write down, no problem. Me, myself, I'm here, chilling, traveling, having sex with beautiful women, doing what I always do, drinking good scotch all the time. But we'll be able to study the effects of untreated and unvaccinated the COVID disease on you, and science will honor your sacrifice. I gotta go. Zabalawan, come on.
Real quick, if I could, sir. Esau just dropped a movie called Old,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about being able to test for diseases in a short amount of time, but what the effect would be over a long period of time. These people get stuck on a beach, and it's like time is accelerating, so they're able to experiment to see what would happen in 8 hours, what would normally take them 16 years. What you just said was just so heavy, and it just reminded me to move that.
The test is happening right now because there's a vaccine you could take to wipe the whole thing out, but black people don't take it, so we'll see the effect of untreated COVID-19 disease. Cesaria.
Captain Shock sent me a link that they already doing the X-rays. It says he sent me a link saying COVID lung X-rays show difference between the vaccinated
I wonder, yeah. So y'all in it. So while you were trying to avoid the Tuskegee experiment, you got in the Tuskegee experiment by not getting the vaccine. Now you're untreated, you're in it. And when you die, they're gonna look at your lungs and test you and look at your body and go, that's interesting. Look at what happened to his lungs. Look at what happened to her lungs. They'll test you.
Right.
You're in it, the Tuskegee experiment. And I can guarantee there is some white man behind teaching black people not to take that medicine.
Oh, yeah.
There is some white man telling you to be afraid of medicine. You're not afraid of weed. You're not afraid of alcoholism. You're not afraid of getting shot. You're not afraid of anything except medicine. That's someone's behind that. That is a real conspiracy. And all of you who are not getting vaccinated, you are in the actual new Tuskegee experiment, untreated illness. What happens to someone when they don't get treated? Do I got to play one more minute? One more minute, please, and I got to go. One more question. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. 1 second.
In 1966, I was working for the U.S. Department of Public
Believed in, and what these people were being permitted to do. That is, they were not permitted, rather, to take treatment. And they certainly were never advised to take treatment by the Public Health Service conducting this.
They weren't taking treatment, and they certainly weren't advised to take treatment. That's you. Right. You are not advised to get the vaccine, and you damn sure ain't getting it. You're in the experiment. Right. You're in it right now, and when you die, science will study you. I'm off this, all right? That's all I can do. Just do whatever the hell you want. I got to move on. Off the topic, correct?
You didn't want the article?
No, I'm done.
Okay, Khan.
Oh, wait, about the black people who invented the vaccine?
Yeah, Khan.
Yeah, read it.
Khan, sir, this is Quartz, Africa. But just get the cliff notes. Since smallpox was a common scourge in the 18th century, a slave's value was predicated on his ability to stave off infection. Long story short, inquiring of my Negro man, Onesimus, who is...
That's his name. I forget his name. Onesimus. That's the nigga that invented vaccines. Onesimus. That was a slick Boston cat. Onesimus. Keep going.
And this is what his master calls him, who is a pretty intelligent fellow.
That's what his master said about him. Onesimus was conscious. Onesimus was pretty intelligent. Keep going.
Whether he had ever had the smallpox, he answered both yes and no. And then told me that he had undergone an operation.
Pause. The master said, have you ever had smallpox? He said yes and no. Meaning, I've never caught it, but I gave it to myself.
Right.
I gave it to myself in a controlled way. Yes and no. Keep going.
Khan, sir. And then told me that he had undergone an operation which had given him something of the smallpox and would forever preserve him from it. You want me to skip down the... Yeah, Khan, sir.
Go ahead.
The resistance was immense. Local newspapers vilified him, meaning the
Say that again?
Local newspapers vilified him.
Say that again?
Local newspapers vilified him.
Keep going.
A grenade was thrown into his house.
Say that again?
A grenade was thrown into his house.
They threw a grenade in this brother's house in Boston, in this master's house.
Yeah, God.
In the slave master's house. This slave master went and told them what Onassis has showed him to do, to give yourself this little operation where you give yourself a little bit of it, and then you never get it. Brother, they threw a grenade in the white man's house for trying to tell people about these nigger vaccinations from his slave Onassis. Onesis. Keep going.
At the core of Boston's resistance to inoculation was a heavy racial bias.
Read that. At the what?
At the core of Boston's resistance to inoculation was a heavy racial bias.
Keep going.
Khan, sir. Salakia, sir. Khan, sir. Heavy racial bias. Mather had made no secret of the fact that he had learnt of the procedure from his former slave.
From who?
His former slave.
This white man didn't keep it a secret. He told everyone, yo, my former slave taught me this. He's smart. And he showed me how he had it a little so he wouldn't have it a lot. And it blew my mind, and it worked. I'm trying to tell white people this so y'all don't get it. They bombed his house. They bombed his house because he told everybody that it came from a nigger. So, inoculations, vaccinations are black. It's a black treatment. It's where it comes from a black man, and you know his name. He's recorded in history. Keep going.
God, Salakia. And this was a stick the town used against him. Inoculation existed in scientific documents where it was described as a heathen practice from Africa.
As a what?
Heathen practice from Africa.
They looked at him and said, this old slave, this is some voodoo garbage from Africa. We don't want none of this because it came from this slave. Inoculations are black. That's you can't refute that. There's no way you can argue with it. There's no one that can come against it. And you also can't come against the fact that you're in a self-imposed Tuskegee experiment because you are not getting a readily available treatment, and white people don't want you to get the treatment so they can study your body after you're dead. I have to move on. I personally don't care whether you live or die. You can do whatever you want to do. I just teach what's true, okay? And the Tuskegee experiment was not them injecting you with magic poison. The Tuskegee experiment was them injecting you with nothing. And that's the crime. It was supposed to be medicine, and it was nothing. Well, you're getting nothing now. Congratulations. The Locks and the Dipset. Get in my hand.
Donald John,
Okay. Now, once again, for Water the Young Brothers, as you brothers know, I am no expert on rap music. Okay?
Right.
I don't know about it or know anything about it at all. But I do know the Bible and the truth. That's my business. And the brothers called me about this and explained the whole thing to me. Let's first play what happened that night.
Okay, so you want the video of the
The actual night. So the group, The Locks, is a rap group from about the 90s. They were with Puff Diddy and Biggie Smalls, and they had giant hits that I've heard of before. Those, it's all about the Benjamins, baby. I heard about that. And a few other big songs like that, right? So now they were very big, and they battled this other group that I've also heard of some of their songs. Ballin', I've heard of. They had some other big songs, this group called Dipset or Diplomat Set. They had a versus battle.
I'm not a role model.
Whenever you get it, let me know. They had a versus battle, and everyone loved it. First of all, once again, let's thank New York City. Give New York a hand, man. And this is something, as I was watching this battle was so New York. And you know, I love anything New York. And and the Israelite school of UPK was born out of this kind of environment. An overtly aggressive environment. People from New York, brothers and sisters from overseas and other parts of the world, they don't understand it.
Right.
But New York is uber aggressive.
No cap.
It's like such an aggressive place. Like New York is New York is not passive aggressive. New York is aggressive.
Right.
Everything is aggressive. To drive 2 blocks is a war. This is a war. As you putting on your seatbelt, you're like, all right, let's get on. Fuck you, motherfucker! It's a war to go 2 blocks. You have to fight to be here. You understand? To actually be here, you're going to have to go to war. To just live here. No one speaks to you. No one is nice. No one says hi. Everyone is angry that the other person is even here. You're angry that they're driving on the road with you.
Right.
You're angry that they live next to you. You're angry that they're walking by you. You understand? It's a place where you have to take ground because no one gives you any ground. No one allows you to do a damn thing here. And I love this place. It is the most beautiful place on the earth. New York is Jerusalem. That is what this place is. It is the motherland. It is 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. It is the most beautiful place on the planet. Now, this battle, it was just so New York that it was beautiful. Like, it was beautiful. The aggression of it was absolutely beautiful. Captain Cesar was telling me about the, what's those other battles? The URL and that Loaded Lux you told me about. What's the other one? That other brother. It was one brother you told me you thought was a good brother. B-Dot. Give him a hand. And that whole thing, and it's such a New York culture to just get in someone's face and just battle him until he quits. And it's how the UPK was born. Right. Like the UPK is like that. And here we settle things the old way. And the Locks and the Dipset, they did it the old way, brother. That's the old way. It wasn't record sales, and it was just the old way. It was that we all gonna stand here, and in the end of this, everyone will know who won. And that's something about a battle that's so beautiful. No one takes a vote for a battle. There's no judges, but you always know who won. It's like it's not like debatable. It's clear who won a battle. And in that way, it's so much like what we do in the UPK. We go out in that street corner, brother, and we are there to battle. We're speaking and speaking and speaking, but we are there knowing that we don't get to just stand here in New York. We don't get to just stand here and give what we think about God. We understand that by being here, we invite opposition, and we train for it. Perpetually, every day, constantly. It's our lifestyle to just train for a battle if it never happens. If it never happens, fine. But we are prepared for it when it comes because this is where the school came from. The school came from this kind of soil, from this place that is just aggressive. No one gives you anything. No one lets you do anything. If you want to stand on a street corner, then you're going to have to defend your feet being there. You're going to have to do it, and that is where the UPK comes from. And it's the whole culture of the school, and now that culture is in Trinidad. The brothers in Trinidad are just as hard and confrontational as you brothers in New York are. The brothers in the UK, the brothers in Houston, the brothers in Texas. All of you are defenders of the faith because you were born out of this place where you really can't have a faith unless you're ready to defend it. You're just not allowed to do it. And that's why this Locks thing is such a good metaphor for what we do in the UPK. Two men, they oppose each other, they disagree about who's better, and they get on stage in front of people to see who is better. That's every camp day. It reminds me so much of of Elijah. When Elijah battled the priest of Baal. And the priest of Baal, it was so many of them. And Paul said, no problem. We're going to meet here this day. And we're going to have two altars. Whichever God burns the sacrifice of the altar, that God is the true living God. That's what Elijah said. And then he said, well, because there's so many of you, you go first. Even that. And on this tape, they battled about who was going first. That is biblical. That is always in everything. Pull that scripture if you want. Elijah, they battled about who would go first. Because in a battle, who goes first matters. Right. It matters. It's something you have to think about before the battle. And do I want to go first or should he go first? Wait a minute. Let me give you something Tazar knows. In general, always make them go first. Right. In general. It might be a time where you can't do that. But in general, you want them to go first so that they can get all of that mess out and you can come in and clean up afterwards. Elijah did that. Elijah said, listen, there's so many of y'all. I'm just here by myself, me and a few young brothers. You go first. And they prayed until the evening. They prayed all day to their God, saying, Baal, burn this sacrifice on this altar. Please.
This First Kings 18 and 25. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose you one bullock for yourselves and dress it first, for ye are many.
That's what he said. You choose one bull. A bullock is a young bull. You are many, so you dress it. You kill the bull, put it on the altar, and let's wait and see if your God burns it. Any more? That's it.
It said what you said. And call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under it.
Meaning you couldn't light a fire. You had to sit there with a dead bull on a rock. And whatever God just set it on fire, that God is the true living God. Right. It's a challenge, Jock. It's a challenge, and he challenged them. Because they were, of course, saying he was wrong. He was saying they are wrong. Let's settle this, man. No problem. Let's do this the old way. Let's do this the way David made a decision about who was right, him or Goliath. Let's just do this the old way. And they waited, and they did it because there was more of them. They went first. And they prayed all night, all day. Nothing happened. Then finally, at the end, it was Elijah's turn. Go ahead, Cesario. Give me that. Elijah's turn.
You want Elijah's turn when he was talking trash?
Yes. Con, the water.
This is 1 Kings 18 and 30. And Elijah said unto the people, come near unto me, all the people that came near unto him, and he repaired the altar. I'm sorry, when he was talking trash to them while they were trying to get it.
Now, that's good, but I don't have time for it. Just give me when he had his turn.
And Elijah took all the people, come near unto me, all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down.
About just like you can get my the Dipset videos up there about them.
Okay, come.
The water. Go ahead.
Verse 31. And Elijah took 12 stones.
She gets so wet, it gets so sticky, gotta take a go.
The water.
Not and that one. Now, I'm good with that. Y'all know this. This the versus battle right here. This is them. You can look that up online. But give me when the Dipset lost the battle.
No.
Right?
Lost
give me,
the battle.
Yeah, when they lost it. The Dipset lost the battle before the battle. Before it ever happened. Give me the interviews that we have with the Dipset. That's the point of this. Here's Elijah winning his battle up. He's winning his battle. They went first. He went next. He put his bull on the altar. Go ahead, Cesario.
And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of the Lord came.
12 tribes of the nation of Israel, unto whom the word of the Lord came. The 12 tribes of Israel. He put 12 stones up there because that's always what this is about.
That's
these
right.
nations hating these 12 people. Keep going.
Saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid them on the wood and said, fill 4 barrels with water and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood.
Not only did he put the bull on the wood, he took, now, you know a beer barrel? He took 4 beer barrels, drenched the bull in water, and drenched the wood in water that was under the bull to set it on fire. He soaked all of it. This is a tactic, and you need faith to do this. But in a battle, you have to do things like this. And remember, for those of you out there that think the Dipset won the battle, it's fine. But this is what you have to remember if you're in the UPK. What I do now? What's so damn funny? What now? The name of the group is the Dipset. Is it or not? Damn. All right, shit. The group now, I'm trying the best I can. The young brothers need me to do
No,
that.
you ain't say it wrong,
Okay,
sir.
Salaka.
No, you ain't say nothing wrong, sir.
Okay,
Salaka.
Come on.
I think they're laughing at the fact that anyone would think that Dipset actually won the battle.
Oh, damn. Okay, all right. Give yourself that. The water. I didn't know that. Okay, well, listen. That's it. I'm allowing, it's all art, and I know that people, you know, okay, the UPK doesn't have one team we are on, okay? You can like the Dipset, you can like the Lock, you can like whoever the hell you want to like. You can like Michael Jordan, you can like LeBron James, you can like Wilt Chamberlain. It's up to you. It's all just entertainment, all right? But this is what you have to know if you're in the UPK. What you think does not matter when it comes to a battle.
Right.
The people decide who wins a battle. And you need to remember that. You can't leave a battle thinking, yeah, I got over him, but the crowd thought you lost.
Right.
If the crowd thought you lost, you lost. And that's important because you don't want to get self-absorbed.
Right.
You get my point? Self-absorbed is like, you know you brung out right scriptures. But remember, why are we even battling today? We're battling today for the minds of the people watching. Mm-hmm. That's the point. If I already believe I'm right, you already believe you're right. So at the end of it, if we still believe we're right, then what was the point of doing it? We did it to convince people that I'm right and you're wrong. That's the point. So in this battle, the Locks won. Mm-hmm. That is undebatable.
That's right.
You can't debate that. Now you can say, well, no, the Locks, see, they just didn't do their good material. Or the Locks just, they're waiting until the show, the concert to do it. Solid. But they lost tonight. That is clear and evident. Salaki, the Dipset lost tonight. That's clear because that is what the people say. And a battle is about who is watching. And you need that to be in the UPK.
That's right.
The battle is not about what you think in your brain. The battle is about who sees it. Does everyone understand? You are making an example of an enemy. He is your enemy, and you are making an example of him. You're trying to show the people that think he's a man of God. People used to think Farrakhan was a man of God until Commanding General Yohana got him. Right. Mm-hmm. Now you don't know who Farrakhan is. Right. He's gone. Right? The purple homosexuals, they're next. In the UPK, we wipe out our enemies. We destroy them. We have a battle and we soak the altar with water. And we soak the wood with water, Captain.
And he said, do it the second time.
Do it again. Soak it, then soak it again. So really, there's no possible way this can ever set on fire. Because he soaked it twice with 4 barrels of water. Keep going.
And they did it the second time, and he said, do it the third time.
Do it one more time. Do it again. So 4 times 3, 18? 18 barrels of water. Keep going.
They did it the third time.
12, Salaki, keep going.
And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art power in Israel, and that I am thy servant.
Let it be what?
Let it be known this day.
Let it be what?
Let it be known.
That's the point, young brothers. The point, you already believe in the truth.
That's right.
The point of a battle is to make other people believe. To make them believe, you have to destroy your enemy. You have to make an example of him.
Right.
They believe in him. You understand? People believe that those purple faggots are wonderful, good Christian Israelites.
That's right.
Dignified, nice, pretty garments. They only have one wife,
right,
which makes them so much better than us when we got a rack of ribs.
Rack.
With us all the time, which makes us just barbarian animals. These cats have one rib. And they don't talk like we talk. They're good.
Right.
They believe in them. They got masses of people that think that's the preferable Israelite group. The FBI ain't chasing them around like they chasing my black ass around everywhere I go, every plane I get on. Right. No, come on.
Canadian borders.
Canadian borders. Tazaryat came home. Who was in your living room, Tazaryat?
CIA.
The CIA. Mm-hmm. In his goddamn living room when he gets in the house. Ashar, who was in your house when you came home? The FBI at Ashar's house. We can't go anywhere.
Right.
Because we look like killers and murderers.
Right.
So Tazaryat has to have the CIA in his damn living room. He come home, he says, sir, I came home. The CIA.
Sit there.
Ashar called me. I opened my door today. The FBI out there know me, know my name, know everything about me, asking me questions. You think they get bothered like that? They don't, because they're the ones that everybody likes.
That's right.
Right.
We're going to make an example of them.
Right. Right.
We're going to take the Christians and the Muslims and the people who are so beloved and we are going to prove that we're beloved of God. God is with us. He soaked the altar. He soaked it 3 more times. Captain.
Let it be known this day that thou art power in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word.
That's what we're trying to prove. Let me tell you something now. Don't ever think that we won't do anything to prove that Israel is the nation that God prefers.
That's right.
And that commanding General Yohana is his servant.
That's right.
We'll do it. Elijah said it just now. Let them know that this is the nation that thou preferred and that I am thy servant.
That's right.
Brother, we'll prove Commander General Yohana is a servant of God. That's right. Don't think we won't. You come to battle us. Just know that we are all in. All in. Keep going.
Hear me, O Yahweh, hear me, that this people may know that thou art the power and that thou hast turned their heart back again. Then the fire of the Most High fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench.
Brother, fire came down from the sky, ate up the sacrifice, ate up the wood, ate up everything around the sacrifice, ate up everything, burned everything to death. Because God is with us, And if you don't know, come see. The Dipset and the Locks went out there that day for that same purpose, to see. And that's a good thing, man. That's the old way to do things, right? And the Locks won.
That's right.
God was with the Locks. It's one point out where the Jim Jones fell off the damn podium. Now listen, I've been in a lot of battles, brother. If I fall off the podium in the middle of a battle, I'm going to turn to Zaryak and say, look, you got it up. I'm going to go sit in the van, because clearly the Lord is not with me today. And I'm fine with that. That's all right. I ain't going to cry about it. He has been with me many days. If he ain't with me one day, he can be with him. I'll go sit in the goddamn van. But the Jim Jones fell off the podium.
Right.
And it was on tape. And then the Cameron, he went up at the end. He went up at the end and tried to freestyle or something.
Right.
And it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed. And you could tell, okay, Cameron went up on the thing, right? And he went to freestyle to say, you say we don't have any bars. You say we don't have any bars, so he went to show all the bars he has. And listen, it was such a desperate ploy. It was so sad. And the only person that would do that is someone that knew they lost.
Right.
Even attempting it meant, wait. I know we lost, but let me try. I got bars. Don't think that. And he went to try to do it, and it was sad and embarrassing. Now, here's what I need you to see. The Dipset lost that battle before that night. I'll show you when they lost the battle. Abaji.
Khan, sir. There's Jim Jones.
You want some precepts, sir?
Please hold on to it. Let's play the video, and I'll give you the precepts.
Jim Jones right here.
Go ahead.
And I escaped those situations and come back and still give niggas high five. Let's do it. What we doing today?
And you know, Jim, we never talked about that. About that situation.
Any situation. There's been numerous situations.
That situation. Did that situation make? Did that situation?
If I made it stop short, when he's talking, what he's just talking about is we never talked about that situation. Jim Jones got beat up and jumped, and in the video, I believe I showed you, but you said you didn't want to see all that. Cameron is seen. The video's kind of grainy. Cameron is seen running the other direction.
Okay, we're about to show you about 5 or 6, and we could show more.
God.
Videos of how much the Dipset hate each other. They hate each other. This is one with him crying about how they left him when he was being assaulted. They left him. And he's crying about it because he feels betrayed by this same group that he was on stage with and for some reason thought he could battle someone with. Play it.
Khan, sir. Just 1 second. Salakia. Yeah, Khan, sir. That's what it was. Khan.
Cousins go to jail for 5 years for this that didn't really have to be in jail for this. Fed time. But we take it on the chin like a soldier. Like, people don't understand what this diplomat shit was built about. I'll be watching the gram, and I'll be watching these clowns and all these. But boy, if you really get to live this last 20 years that I lived, you would understand, boy. I put everything on the line for this. And I took it with a smile. Even when niggas doubted me, niggas down me, when I was on trial and niggas told me I need to take the plea. Take what plea?
Stop. John.
This is him. I don't have time, but this is him crying about the hatred that Cameron has for him and how they can't stand each other. Give me another video.
John, is Cameron's response to what you just saw with Jim Jones.
So where I'm at.
And Cameron is going to explain his theory on why Jim Jones is actually mad at him.
Go ahead.
Con, sir.
Whatever.
This is
what I did, and I'm not going wrong. I was dead wrong for this. I was dead fucking wrong, and this is where the whole shit collapsed at. This is where everything went all the way downhill. I'm being totally honest. Jim met Chrissy. And when he met Chrissy, he'd been liking Chrissy his whole life. He loved Chrissy, you know what I'm saying? But he just started messing with her. So, back then it wasn't, even though now it's cool, back then, or even back then it might have been cool, we was just kind of new to having millions of dollars in money or whatever.
Yeah.
So Jim just meet Chrissy and he started messing with her, and he's buying her bags and buying her shoes like the first 2-3 weeks he met her or whatever. So I was like, yo, you tricking, man? What is you doing? You tricking, you bugging, or whatever. So this is my mistake, and I'm being totally honest. And if I can do it over, I swear to God, I would do it all the way over.
You got another video? This is Cameron talking about how he began to say he was tricking, meaning his wife is a hoe, and you're buying things for her.
Right.
And he's explaining this thing in public.
Right.
In public, the Jim Jones is crying about how Cameron has hurt him.
Right.
Cameron is discussing how he hurt him. Any more? Any other video?
On this one, he basically explains. He basically made a shirt that said, Jim Jones is tricking. And then on the back of the shirt, he doesn't support any of our homies in jail. And then listed the names of the homies that are in jail that Jim Jones don't support.
And give me how Cameron treats the Joel Santana. If you have another video of that. Here's the point, Akim. This is what you all have to understand. If you have it, let me know. I'll break it down after this.
This isn't Cameron himself, but this is Joel answering about the whole situation.
Ahead.
Okay, so this is Salakia, just so I can get the timestamp.
No problem.
2:30. Okay, Salakia. John.
To see and going still like I do, I still Dipset for life, Skull Gang forever. You dig what I'm saying? So as far as that, I mean, I heard Cam on this interview. So as far as whether we gonna get back together, I mean, that's not really, you know what I mean? I can't really talk about it too much no more, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just really about, it seems like it's just like, it's an ongoing thing, and it's not really getting nobody nowhere. Cam said what he had to say. You dig, as far as, you know what I mean, whatever reasons he said no, and he can't do nothing with Jim and Joel's for this. I mean, it was just weird.
You heard that, right, sir?
I heard it.
God.
What did he say?
Basically, he said, I'm dealing with my own thing. I don't really care about what Kim said. No, I can't do anything with Jim or Joel's.
I heard. Now, Akim, and you need this. The reason why I wanted to break this down for you tonight is because this is such a metaphor for how the UPK wins every battle that we're in. You might think that we win our battles because we study more, and we do. You might think we win our battles because we're more prepared, and we are. But that is not the reason that we win the battles that we win. We win the battles that we win because we love each other.
Right.
Barakatah Yahweh Yahushua. The Dipset lost that battle 10 years ago.
Right.
10 years ago, they lost that battle. And what you have to know is 10 years early, you have to know that a battle is coming. Right. It's coming. And if you don't work out the problems that you have with each other, 10 years from now, you're going to be at camp with this same brother who you have not mended your brotherhood with, and your enemy is going to devour you. Because your enemy knows that you don't love your brother. When we battle a Christian church, I know I can divide them from each other. The purple faggots are, I know full well that I can make them not like each other. I'm on purpose saying things that is going to make this one divide from this one. You can do it. You can just, it's like a skill you can learn. You can learn to split them. You understand? You can look at them and study them and go, I'll talk about this. I know he doesn't agree with that. And I'm going to hammer this point. And you know what he'll say? He'll say, well, you got to ask him about that. That is a killer. If you hear somebody say, well, what about this? What about that? Well, you got to ask him about that. You know what that means, right?
We're not.
I'm not with that. I don't agree with that. That's him.
Right.
You can't ever say that. You agree with everything he said if he's your brother.
Right.
Everything he said is true.
Right.
Everything he said is right. If you're not there in your mind, you better prepare today. Being in the UPK is to prepare every day for a battle that is coming. It's on its way. You think 10 years ago, these brothers thought that one day we'd be on this giant platform, everybody looking at us, and our division would show. They didn't know.
Right.
You know what they thought about? They thought about how mad I am at him.
Right.
And how mad I am at what he didn't give me that money. And he didn't do this for me.
Right.
And he talked about my wife, or he's not helping the brothers in jail.
Right.
They thought about the incident that had them so angry, but they didn't think, what if I need him? And what if he needs me? We should not talk about this in public. We should go to him and thee alone so that our enemies don't see it. And one day on stage, and brother, the Locks on that show, the Locks brought up Max B. Who knows who the hell that is? Shaw, who's Max B?
Max B is another cat from Harlem that basically helped Jim Jones with his whole style
1 second.
and flow. And they had a big falling out.
They had a falling out. Who's the other one they brought up?
Salakia, what I was going to say from what the research I did, supposedly, Jim Jones brought out Max, and basically because of the whole, basically from what I'm hearing, Max B is from Cameron's literal building in Harlem, and he got mad because Jim Jones was using him for features instead of saying, no, I'll help you get your album. So that,
and you know what the Locks does? The Locks say, shout out to Max B. You understand? Because that is war, meaning if they know you don't love each other, they're going to go, hey, where's Max B at? He's the good one. Where's this other cat at? He's better. He's the good one. And listen, and here's what you have to see. When someone does that to you, you're going to feel like he's in your heart. Right. You're going to feel like, oh my God, he reached inside my soul. He knows about my problems and my issues I have with this brother. I can't win. Right. Shalai Yalla. Microphone. Time check too.
9:30.
Slocks, if I may, real quick, he dug the dagger a little deeper when he said, I was with him for 3 weeks before he went to prison because I could understand what he's going through.
That was terrible. I saw that. Brother, that is the Locks. And the Locks, listen, the Locks love each other.
Right.
It's evident. You can see it on there that these are not three cats battling over position, battling over money. I can almost guarantee you they all make the same money.
Right.
Which is important. Right. I can guarantee you that Cameron makes more money than those other two.
Right.
I can see it on the screen on these videos Abad just sent me.
Right.
That this is the one who makes all the money, who talks to the white people, Cameron.
Right.
And the other two get money from him, which makes them hate him.
Right.
Because he's not ever giving them the money they deserve. And I can guarantee you that the Locks, even though that Jadakiss one is more skilled or more popular, he makes the same money as the other two.
Right.
And that makes them win. That makes them win battles. It means no one is envious and hateful or feels unappreciated of the other one. So now, when the day comes that it's time for a battle, They destroy their enemies, man, because their enemies hate each other because they're beefing over women and money. Who had their hand up over here? Come on. Go ahead.
Cam also brought out a brother named J.R. Ryder.
That's the other name.
He's the nicest one out of the whole Dipset.
Where was he at?
I'm not sure because he also got his I forgot what was his. He got his whole group now.
Why wasn't he on the stage with the Dipset?
So like this thing from 10 years, you say? Cause
falling out with each other, right?
Right.
That's the point. The Dipset is just a bunch of people who hate each other, and you can't battle someone else if you hate yourself.
Right.
This is why brotherhood in the UPK is so important, because we stand on street corners battling. We can't hate each other. We don't have the luxury to hate each other, because we're going to get into battle this week in a few days.
Right.
So what are we going to do? Hate each other and argue? Well, what in the hell are we going to do when they come up? Because let me tell you what happens. And later on, when the Dipset does interviews about this battle, this is what they're going to say. Cameron is going to say, well, I was trying to do my hits, but they didn't want me to do this song. And they didn't want me to do that song. And, you know, because of them, I couldn't really. When Cameron came on at the end to do it by himself, that was him saying, I got lyrics. These other two don't. So just let me go up there and do my lyrics. And what happened? It was terrible. Because if you're all not together, none of you have anything.
Right.
And he doesn't see that. And in the later coming days and weeks, when they have to explain why they lost, they're going to blame each other.
Right.
It's going to be the other guy's fault. Well, you know, Jules Santana, he ain't never come to the practices. We tried to practice, but the Jules Santana, he never came. And Jim Jones, he was trying. I told him to come to the practice. He told me I couldn't do the song I wanted to do, and it's his fault. Well, Cameron never showed up. He was late every day to the practices, and that's why that happened. And they're going to hate each other, and that's why they lost. They lost this battle 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Now, are you willing to lose your battle? Hell no, not me. I'm winning my battles, brother. I'm destroying my enemies, brother.
Right.
I'm wiping them out. I'm erasing their memory from history. I'm
Johnson.
doing that. And I will never do it if I hate you.
Right.
I have to forgive you. I have to appreciate you. I have to encourage you. I have to make all of you know that Commanding General Yohana loves you. He appreciates you. What do you need? Are your kids sick? How's your wife? Do you need more? Do you need some time off? Do you need this? Do you need that? Why? Because I am preparing for the day of adversity. It is coming, and we cannot be divided then. Precept. I asked someone to hold it for me. Captain. Proverbs 17 and 17. We got a wrap, right, Captain? Go ahead. It's the last one about it. I think we made the point. Go ahead.
Salaki, I just wanted to iterate what you said about the Locks bigging up Max B is so funny, because a lot of this started because 50 Cent bigged up Jim Jones as a hype man. Like, basically you were Flavor Flav and now you're balling. And then to make matters worse, he was in beef with Cameron at this time. And then Jim Jones and Jules Santana go on stage with 50 Cent, which starts the whole thing with Cameron.
My God. Stuff like that, Ak, is just, you're not going to win a battle, Ak. You're going to lose a battle. You allow other people from the outside to influence you. That's another thing. I see a ton of fake. That Jesus Christ church that fell, a lot of their ex-members are making videos now saying that they were in a cult. I followed a cult. And when I hear them say that, I know what that means. That means my mama was right. My auntie was right. They told me I was in a cult and I didn't listen. And so that's why they're calling themselves a cult, that they were in this cult and now they've left it because finally what their mother said sunk in, what their auntie said sunk in. They've been divided from people in the world, from people outside of their religion, outside of the Jesus Christ church. They've got in their minds.
Right.
So now they say I was in a cult. That's why I was in that, because I was in a cult. Because that's what your mom used to always tell you. But you were pushing her out. But when you got angry at your brother, you let her in.
Right.
What do we have? Shalai Yala, what do you want to bring out? Give him the microphone. I got to roll. Give it to Shalai Yala, please. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, sir.
Is this the same one?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Captain in the back, you read it.
I got it, sir.
Proverbs
Let him
17 and
read it,
17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
A friend loveth at all times. Listen, if you're trying to be in the UPK, you're gonna have to understand what all means. So most of you, if you're in the world, you don't even know what all means. All is not all. It's not my all. My all is all.
Right.
You understand? All times. Even when he's done something to you, he's angered you, he's offended you, he's absolutely wrong about this matter. Brother, I'm not losing love for this cat. My love is screwed to the fence. It cannot move. I'll go to him and I'll tell him and I'll correct it, but him and I are one. We're not leaving each other. And that's why so many of you can't have good marriages, because you don't understand what all times is. So many of you stupid bitches out there, when you marry a man and you say you're going to be with him forever, your forever is not my forever. We got two different forevers. My forever is when he gets another woman, that is still forever.
Right.
You understand? My all is all. Is everything, every offense, every tragedy, every terrible incident. I don't abandon someone I'm with. And if I don't understand the benefit of it, I might one day at camp, I might one day at the battle, I might one day at Versus know why I must forgive Max B.
Right.
Forgive this Dipset. Forgive these. I'll know one day why. I'll think on stage, damn, I should have forgave Max B. Because what would have killed it if Max B could have came out with them?
Right.
If Mace could have came out with them.
Right.
If they could have said, we love each other. Here's everybody who you were going to bring out. What would he have said about Max B when Max B is standing right there?
Right.
With him. What are you talking about? You ain't never come see me. I'm in the Dipset.
Right.
They couldn't do that because they hate each other.
Right.
And they're not prepared for the day of battle. This was the day of battle. They lost it 10 years ago. Are you going to lose yours? Because yours is coming. And if you hate your brother, and if you don't forgive your brother, one day at camp, some Christian or some Israelite is going to divide you and split you. And you're going to know why you lost. And so is everyone else. With that, pass the class over to the young officer.